Hello, everyone, and welcome to another day of the StarCastTV Star League Season 2. This is Group C. We've already gotten through Group A and Group B. And this time around, we've got one of my favorite players, which is Hero. Even though I'm a Terran player, I love his Zerg. He's got an interesting Hydra Lurker style in general versus Terran. He's super deadly versus Protoss. And then, he's pretty good. ZVZ does well consistently in the ASL. He's like a round of 4 player almost every season. We've got Paralyze, which is a former SKT player. He's Protoss. He played StarCraft 2 quite consistently. Then we've got my favorite TVT player, Ssak, but unfortunately no other Terran in this group for him to bash on. And then we've got Hyun, an NBC game hero Zerg, kind of old school, making his comeback. Let's get into I think we're going to see our bracket, or I guess groups technically. As I stated, we already have gotten through Group A. Rush, Mighty Beast, Bishop up there, Sharp, Motive, Shine, and Cop. Actually, even though I can't remember if Motive made it out, I don't think he did in Group B. He had some good games. I'm looking forward to see him play in the future if we have a StarCast TV Season 3. And I've got my eyes locked on Group D. That's going to be our next cast. It's Snow, Sins, a crazy Protoss, Miso, and then Tengu, who's made it into the ASL. I guess you can't really call him an amateur anymore, but he's an up-and-coming Terran. See how he can do versus someone like Snow, because we know all the good Terran players, Rush, Royal, Light, they couldn't do jack squat to Snow in Season 1. So maybe Tengu needs to pull out something that only he knows about. Maybe, his ladder experience can come in here and take down Snow. Not really sure how you can actually beat Snow. He's just god tier right now. Let's look at today's matchups. As I stated, we already have Hero and Paralyze facing off in the first match, so that's going to be a ZVP. Then Ssak, Terran versus Zerg versus Hyun. With all that said, let's get into our first game and see if Paralyze can actually make an upset versus Hero. So in the top right, we do have our purple Zerg. It is Hero. And in the bottom left, we do have our brown Protoss. It is Paralyze. So ZVP on Retro, seen a lot of epic games on this map. I think the first one I saw was Soma versus Best, a sponsored game. It came down to like just a couple units, like in a 40-minute game. There's always craziness happening on Retro, so this should be a good game. However, I will say I think Hero's on another level over Paralyze. I don't see him play that often, but Hero, there's a reason he's unkillable in the ASL versus Protoss. At least he's got something like a 70% win rate versus it. He's really, really good in this matchup. And we do have low ground pylon, of course. This is not Bonnet. This is not going to be a 2-gate in your main. So everything so far looks like it's going to be a gateway expand from Paralyze, unless he's going to get tricky and put down a second gate. Meanwhile, Hero has kind of an interesting overboard movement. He's going diagonal, now moving down towards the bottom. I guess he wants to intercept that probe instead of going directly to the main, but unfortunately, there is no probe incoming. And I guess luckily for him, though, it is cross spawn, and he is going to get his 12 hatch down, not going to be denied. Now, by the way, guys, I did just recently buy a microphone. I do know that the audio has been cutting out at the beginning of the games pretty consistently, actually. I changed the setting in Discord for the ASL cast. I haven't noticed any of those issues with the ASL cast, but I did revert them back. I did change a couple things, and hopefully that resolved the issue. But if you do hear some problems with the Discord cast, or with the audio, that is the reason. And if you're a connoisseur of Discord, let me know if you hear any, or if you let me know what I can do to fix it, because I'm kind of at a loss on what to actually do to fix it. But anyways, back into our game. We've got the pool. It is basically done at this point, and Paralyze, he's going to be sending off his first Zealot. And how much damage can he get done is the question. How many zealots is he going to build? You have varying players, or you have players that build a varying amount. Some players build like 3, some players just, they see the fast expansion and they're like, you know what, I just need a Nexus ASAP. And it does look like Paralyze is kind of going in between here. 2 zealots, and then the Nexus. Probe in there, gonna do a little bit of damage. And the zealot is just actually getting caught by this drone. This is actually kind of a big deal. If the 2 zealots could have synced up together into the natural, could have done some damage, but instead it does just get pulled back towards the natural. And with the first few lings out, Hero is going to be looking for that hidden zealot, but we know that it is at mid-right, waiting for its opportunity to strike. No forge just yet for Paralyze. Could be playing with fire versus someone of Hero's caliber, but he does have a read on the lings, and he is just optimizing his build as much as possible. In the main of Paralyze, I don't really see a big building going down, so I'm going to assume that the cybernetics has not been placed down just yet. Paralyze does have, 3 zealots out now, maybe 4. First one coming into the natural, and the lings, I think the Overlord actually has a little bit of vision onto that zealot. Yeah, he does see it. And those zealots, or that zealot, is going to get taken down pretty easily by the lings. Oh, actually, he's running. He's not down just yet, but we have a ling run by into the main. And this should deal some damage. He's already gotten 1 probe. Forge actually in the main. That means that the cybernetics most likely at the natural for the Sim City. But that means that the +1 weapon should not get picked off unless these 2 lings have more damage than I actually thought. Meanwhile, this zealot attack at top middle, I don't think this is going to do very much. This zealot at mid-right, Hero may have forgotten about it though. He's diverted all of his attention to deal with these. Oh man, that's almost a complete surround. This is not going to work out for Paralyze at all. He even gets one of them caught. Not looking good so far for our Protoss Hero. And I did notice that the lings have intercepted the arm, or the single zealot in Hero's natural, so I'm gonna assume that's not doing much damage yet. It looks like it's already been taken care of. And in the main, I don't think the ling got that many more worker kills. So overall, I guess Paralyze held the lings in his main okay, but he really didn't get the damage that he was looking for with his counterattack. Now Hero has a decent amount of lings. He does have speed kicked in. The Stargate is already basically done. And unless I'm mistaken, I don't see a Spire in Hero's main. Maybe it's hidden behind the mineral line and I'm missing it. But it really does look like there is going to be a severe tech advantage in favor of Paralyze. Yeah, look at this. Spire pretty much just starts when the first Sair is already being produced. So this is going to be pretty rough for Hero. He's going to lose at least 1 Overlord. Maybe upwards of 2 or 3 because of how quick this gets out. But he has ramped up his econ, or his macro, I guess, really, really well. Actually, his econ too. Geez, 33 drones versus 35 probes. Never a position you want to be in ZVP. Paralyze needs to do something about this. He does have a decent zealot count. I could see him moving out sometime soon before the Spire completes. Of course, he doesn't know that the Spire's not done just yet. And here he goes. 4 zealots. No, they're not willing to commit. I think once he gets out his second cannon, he'll probably make a move. Then the counterattack potential of knocking down a single cannon and getting into the main is kind of low. That's probably what he's waiting for. There's the first Overlord that's going to die. Single Corsair takes that out. Corsair going towards the top side, but unfortunately for him, not going to find anything there. Meanwhile, Hero's 6th hatchery coming down at his top middle base. No Scourge, no Muta's out just yet. He does have his Nat Gas, so Hero does have a decent amount of gas built up. He could go for Muta play, but I do have a feeling it's just going to be the patented 5 Mutas, a few Scourge, and transition into Hydras. But I don't think I've spotted the Hydra Den just yet. Meanwhile, Paralyze respecting that this could be Mutas. You can see a cannon going down in his main. I'm going to assume that's the, yep, evolution chamber right there. +1 weapon for the Hydras should be coming in pretty soon. And the Scourge, well, they're not really going to be able to do much, but they do get some in... Oh, actually, they almost got a connection there. The cannon completes in the nick of time to push the Scourge back, though. And Muta's going to engage onto these Zealots. Again, Paralyze trying to make something happen with these Zealots, but Hero's just too solid. They're just not doing any damage right now. And I'm worried for Paralyze because I still don't see gateways done. We're at the 8-minute mark where a lot of players do start flooding gates, but I don't even really see good pylon positioning in his main to start flooding gates. I mean, I guess you can technically build a few above his assimilator on that pylon, but like I don't see a pylon more towards the center of his base to really plop down, you know, like 6, 7, 8 gates. But as I say that, he does plop down 3 more. I expect him to go into 1 more actually right now, get up into 6 gates, and try and look for some damage. There's a 6-1 right now. He's got 2 at his natural. Meanwhile, Corsair count. Ooh! I was going to say the Corsair count is getting pretty high, but he's also building an Archon, so he's going to have massive air superiority. I don't expect the Corsairs really to be ever taken down, especially with the Archon helping out. But that means that he does not have any Templars. Hydras are going to be extremely potent versus this army. I think Paralyze is going to have like 1 opportunity to get damage done, and then he's going to be on the back foot versus most likely all these Hydras that Hero's starting to pump out. Really good probe count for Paralyze though. He's got big econ sitting at 55 probes. Would love to see him put down an additional, you know, 2 or 3 gateways at least if he's going to go into a probe count this high. But also could take a 3rd base, and in fact, probe moving over to mid-left. And I like how this Zealot spots where the mutas are, and that allows Protoss to get onto the map with the rest of his Zealot and Archon army. However, he doesn't know about mid-right. If he knew mid-right was there, of course he would go directly over there and snipe that hatchery. But instead, he's going to try and make something happen at top middle. It looks like he's kind of hesitant to make the move. Where are the Corsairs? They're kind of just hanging around. Yeah, in the middle, they're being chased by Scourge. Uh-oh, I don't think that this is going to work. Just, you can see he's messed up his Zealot group. Ends up having a lot of them not helping out in the fight. The mutas all got taken down, and so did the Scourge. That was a big loss for Hero, actually. And you can see Paralyze shoots up 30 supply. That was really nice. Even though he lost his 2 Zealots and single Archon, at least he didn't lose the rest of his Zealot army. So he's going to have a fearsome army to help defend this 3rd base. But that is a lot of Hydras moving into the position. I see a couple of Templars getting up here also. Don't expect Zerg to be able to do much. Oh, but if they snipe the Templars, maybe they can. That was some big catches right there. That is so many Hydras, and the, you know, the surface area is not that good. It's gonna be really hard for us to hold this. I guess with the Zealots and Archon and cannons coming up, maybe he can, but Zerg is saying, no sir, I want to just end this game. Zerg is down 20 supply. I don't know if this is actually going to work, but he is mowing down these Zealots quite quickly. 2 more Templars trying to help out. Hero is just rallying across the map. He's got so many Templars here. Look how fast the Zealots die. Despite the Archons or the cannons doing work, it's still not enough. The Storms connect. Did Hero really just do it? He just moved really like 6 hatch Hydra. He's not even using his hatchery at mid-right. This is a dead base. I don't think Paralyze can really recover from this. Oh, a Lurker morph. You're not getting up here, sir. And he just taps out. GG. That was quite the macro play from Hero. I thought that Paralyze, with his big econ, with his decent amount of Zealots, cannons, Archon, should be able to hold that position. Mid-left is such a tiny... that mid-left base is like such a tiny ramp to attack into. I'm surprised it ended up working, but it ends up getting a victory for Hero there, so well done from him. And that means I think Paralyze will be moving into the losers match. I think I remember this being best of 1 compared to best of 3, like we see in BSL. So let's get into our next matchup, which is going to be Ssak versus Hyun. So that's going to be a Terran versus Zerg. I think this should be close, even though Ssak is, you know, like, I don't remember all the rankings that Koreans have. They have like King tier, Queen tier, Jack tier, Joker tier. I think Ssak is up there in terms of like King tier or God tier, whereas Hyun maybe more around like Jack tier. So Ssak is a little bit favored in this, but you know, historically his TVZ, at least in ASL, it's kind of lacking. So I think Hyun's got a shot here. So with all that said, let's get into that matchup and see if Hyun can actually do it. Okay, in the top left, we do have our Zerg. It is Hyun. And in the bottom left, we do have our orange Terran. It is Ssak. And yeah, even though I'm not completely clear on the rankings that Koreans have for all the players, I do remember they do have God tier. And God tier is, you know, like Light, Hero, Snow, Bisu, you know, Mini, those types of caliber of players. I don't think Ssak is considered God tier. I think he's more like King tier, which is like a step below, but still insanely good. And then I think below that we've got Hyun. So it is going to be, I think, a tough matchup for Hyun. I would say luckily for him, Ssak, at least from what I remember, doesn't really 8-racks that often. At least not in as much as Rush, for example. Like Rush is 8-racks in like, you know, almost every other game. And because of that, I think Hyun should be feeling pretty good about just going straight 12 hatch here. Don't really necessarily need to worry about going overpool to deny that 8-racks, but Retro is one of those maps where you can fully wall off bottom left, and top right, and it's ling tight. So he will have to keep that in mind, that hey, we're playing Retro, this is definitely a good walling map, so maybe he should go for an early pool. But of course, we see that Ssak not opting for the 8-racks this time. It is going to be a wall, and luckily for Hyun, he is going to find him first, so he'll know exactly what's coming. And you know, maybe Hyun will get greedy here. Maybe with this, you know, direct intel immediately from the start, maybe he can go for something really crazy here, like a 3-hatch before pool. You know, generally at pro level, you almost never see that. But hey, I can dream, right? And now, actually, okay, he did go a little bit far. I'm not sure if the depot actually spotted that Overlord, but there is kind of a late scout for Ssak. Like, there's still no SCV sent out. Generally, versus Zerg, you're scouting at like 11 or 12. Because if you can skip the depot and go straight command center, that's exactly what you want to do. But no scout from Ssak so far. He's built up his money really nicely, and I guess he doesn't care about scouting because he just immediately puts down the depot. Gonna build the Marine. So it's gonna be a 1 Marine expand. In Sakk's main, no gas. It's not gonna be Wraith or something crazy. Should just be straight command center, and there it is. And the reason I mentioned that gas from Ssak in particular is when 10-10-10 was becoming a thing, and when 1-1-1 was, you know, making its debut in the pro scene a few years ago. From what I remember, Ssak was like the innovator of the 1-1-1. Of course, Flash perfected it, but you know, being the innovator, you obviously are going to have this type of play in your arsenal, and it actually is a 3-hatch game from Hyun. It's not 3-hatch before pool, so you know it's not insane greed, but 3-hatch on location, and because Ssak didn't scout, he doesn't get into the main, and he doesn't get to see. Well, he does get lucky that he's going to scout top middle and find this hatchery, but if Hyun had put this anywhere else, most likely it wouldn't have been scouted, and Ssak would have had to make a guess on what Hyun was opting for. Probably would have been wrong, because the most common play right now is to go 2-minute gas, 2-minute pull. 2-minute pool, I mean. However, 3 Marines have gotten across the map, and they're looking to put some pressure on, but I don't know how much pressure this is going to actually deal, because the Overlord spotted it. Wow, Ssak went really far, and now he's just finally going to turn around. He's not going to get punished. So many times I make this type of move, and I guess I overstep, and I get crushed. Like, I just lose my entire army immediately, you know, and I just think I'm, you know, back to myself, like, why did I even do that? What was I trying to accomplish with that? Anyways, it is a 2 racks this game with a somewhat quick academy. Not the fastest. You know, it's not like a 3-minute academy. This, I think, was like a 3:30. So he does have a decent marine count. Will have a good stem timing. And he's looking to put some pressure onto this third base. It's hard to sunken up both your natural and your third base, which is why you don't see a lot of players open 3-hatch these days. Really hurts your econ despite being an eco opener. And you also don't have anything to hit back on the Terran, especially when they wall. You know, with the mutas, you don't care about a wall. You can still run into their main or fly over their natural and pick off turrets. But in this scenario, Spire hasn't even started. SCV sees everything. He sees double sunken coming up at both bases. Now what does Ssak want to do? He's going to move out. Overlord spots him coming, and that does trigger the creation of those sunken colonies. Meanwhile, Hyun has about 8 lings. This is going to be a good amount to support the 2 sunkens. I don't think Sakk's going to ever commit into 2 sunkens with just one medic. But if he does, you know, the lings will, you know, swoop in and save the day. But I'm getting a little worried that Ssak has overstayed his welcome. There's a lot of lings on the top side. There's a decent amount of lings in the natural. If Hyun builds a few more lings, I actually think he can just swarm this army and kill it. But instead, I guess Hyun is not looking to go for the kill. He's running around with the lings. I don't know what he sees. Oh, he sees an opening at the natural. Those Marines are way far out of position, and actually, there's not a complete wall anymore. He's just going to surround these Marines, and this is about to get ugly. Marines desperately trying to get into position. One of them almost was able to plug up that wall. And in Sakk's main, you often see like a 3 racks or a 4 racks, but he went straight tech. He's got a factory coming. He doesn't have any more production in his main other than a single racks there. So actually, Ssak is going to have to turn around, and he may lose quite a few SCVs to this. Now, despite all this damage, whoa, he's building more lings. That is a lot of lings, but I think this may have been a mistake. Because, you know, Ssak just turns around his army now, and now he should be able to hold this amount of lings that is coming to make a big counterattack. I don't know what he's looking for, because I don't expect Ssak to be out on the map anymore with this army. But either way, these lings did a lot of damage. Oh, he's still out of position. He just runs in the natural again. Can he get some more kills? Can he get that turret? That would be a great pickoff, because mutas are going to be coming pretty soon. And he is going to get it. Ssak is really regretting moving that racks out of position, I can tell you that. And now finally, this gives Hyun some breathing room to get his econ rolling straight into armor. He's actually got a Hydra Den pretty quickly, and with 3 gas income, he can afford going, you know, a decent chunk of mutas, and then following up with like a really, really hard commitment to lurkers if he wants. We've got Ssak, he did scan, and he is opting to go into double starport. I thought if he had scanned the Hydra Den, maybe he would have gone into like 1 fact, 1 port, and try and get some tanks out. But I guess he's deciding that SK Terran is probably going to be the better play, because most likely it's not going to be, you know, mass lurker all in. It's most likely Hyun scaling into his hive, getting into his defiler tech, which he is, by the way. Queen's Nest is coming down, and sneaky drone over at mid right, and you can see the power of this 3 hatch. Look at all the econ for Hyun. He's got double macro hatch coming down. He's got another hatch coming down at mid right in just a second. He's really ramping up his econ quite well, and unless Ssak does something about it, this game could get ugly. I think actually Ssak should consider going drops. Hyun hasn't built a single Scourge, he hasn't built any mutas, he hasn't done anything, and right now, his main is completely wide open. I think that could definitely be a game-winning move for Ssak. We'll have to wait and see what's actually coming out of his starport right now. Meanwhile, he doesn't know about mid-right, even though that is a base that could be killed. Doesn't know about it, is not going to be able to take it down. And he may be feeling the pressure. I'm sure he scanned that the evolution chamber was decently timed. This could actually be crazy, sir. It really does look like Hyun is banking up his gas, trying to go into ultras. And there is actually a dropship, but there's only one. I don't know if one is enough. But if there's only going to be, what is it, 6? Okay, they're being morphed into lurkers. I was going to say, if there's only going to be 6 Hydras for defense, well then 1 dropship's going to be more than enough. But with 5 lurkers coming out onto the field, okay, double drop. This could get ugly. Whoops, that is my alarm. Close that, or turn that off real quick. And double drop coming out onto the map. Where does he want to go? I think he wants to just avoid these overlords on the left side, and then he's going to hook back around into the main. Double Nidus, that's interesting. I guess he wants to connect to his third base and also connect to mid-right. Now it's a triple drop, and with all of his units right outside of the base, this could get ugly real quick. There are still no Scourge. There's only 4 lurkers. I think actually there's some Scourge on the left side. You're right. Oh, but they're not spread out, man, and they're not going to find the dropships. He's going to be able to unload everything. And Hyun, who had such a massive econ and had such good tech, good upgrades, now he's on the brink of losing his entire drone line. I don't know if he's going to be able to shut this down. So far, he's actually killed a decent amount of the Marines, but the problem is Ssak could elevator in some more if he wants. I think maybe Ssak is waiting for +1 armor to kick in before committing to attacking these lurkers. That is a lot of lurkers, actually. Wow, that turned into so many so quickly. I think he did have an opportunity to attack when it was, what was it, like only 3 sitting right there? But with it being 7, of course, there's no way on earth you're going to bust through that. Ssak does see the bad news that, hey, mid-right's already been taken, and these drops, even though it did a decent amount of damage to the drone line, didn't kill any key buildings, didn't kill the Spire, didn't kill Evolution Chamber, didn't get the Defiler Mound. He's going to be feeling the pressure to do something, which is why you see him build 7 racks now. He knows that if he continues to play this game, he's just at a massive deficit. So he needs to end it. He needs to knock down a base at least. He's got the triple drop going towards top middle again. But there's a lot of sunkens there. I don't think that this is going to work. Maybe the Sim City can backfire if he can get behind the Evolution Chamber and snipe the Nidus. Okay, that's exactly what he's doing, but he needs to snipe that Nidus immediately. Cannot let anything through. The Defiler gets through, and with the Defiler getting through, I think this is going to get cleaned up, but at least he does get the Nidus. Unfortunately for him, there is no Firebats here. Firebats would wreak havoc on these Lings and drones. Scourge trying to save the day, taking down those dropships, ends up taking down 2 of them, so that's really nice. And what this is accomplishing for Ssak is at least it's stalling the big power spike for Hyun. You can see Hyun's still floating about 1,500 gas. Not able to, go into those critical ultras just yet. Ooh, that Evolution Chamber. If there's an upgrade going, that will be a massive loss for him. Guess we're not actually going to see if it got canceled or not, but I'm going to assume that that probably was a cancel there. So really nicely done from Ssak, eliminating that Evolution Chamber. And he's got another massive army moving out onto the map. I think he wants to get mid-right. It's kind of vulnerable. Doesn't have that many lurkers. And, Hyun is still trying to stabilize his main econ. Like, look, he's rebuilding drones there. Drop coming over here. That's a good drop. Baits the Defiler and a couple lurkers. And actually, Hyun's in trouble. I think he's in big trouble here. He doesn't really have that much stuff. Two more lurkers coming out of the Nidus, but they're going to get irradiated pretty much immediately. Luckily, he has way more lurkers to help support this position. But this is just a killer spot for Ssak, and he's still got a drop. Not sure if it's actually loaded up, but he is sharking around like he wants to do something with it. Defiler getting taken down. Ssak is just everywhere with his army. He's got 7 racks, so he can put units at all these positions. He's double expanding behind it too, so he's not all in here. Got bottom middle coming up, and in fact, it looks like that's close to done. Bottom right coming up pretty soon also. Ssak has a good worker count. He's got 57. I've watched a few light videos these days because he's gotten so many tutorials on his YouTube. And he talks about when you're playing SKKer, and really you're looking for like 55 to 60 SCVs. So far, this does look like the perfect amount of SCVs and econ for Ssak right now. I like his vessel count, 6 of them. Gonna be able to rack up a lot of kills with those vessels. I guess the one thing I would like to see him start building are some BCs, man. I don't think the Scourge have +1 armor. I think BCs would be a fantastic follow-up. And with him floating that science facility, that physics lab could be coming. Apparently that Marine does not like that barracks. That one's got to go, man. He may actually kill it, because I don't think that's something that you're going to notice while playing in a game that's as chaotic as this. Another drop to top middle, but this pretty much gets blown up immediately. And that Rax is still getting hit, man. He really hates that Rax. Oh, we got maybe an eraser here? Man, there's just no Scourge to deal with the vessels. These vessels are just doing so much damage. He can keep Nidusing in all he wants, but if everything just gets irradiated, I mean, all you're doing is just helping Ssak get some kills. I guess a Plague did connect there. You can see that 5 out of the 6 vessels are very low health. So I guess that's a really good move from Hyun, but he still just doesn't have any map presence at all. This is a really weird setup of bases, like top middle, mid right. You would have expected Zerg to have the top right base, like the main. Ooh, that Muta, not able to get those vessels. That could have been a very big win for Hyun if that could have connected. And there is the physics lab. He does fix that Marine. He realizes that he's losing his racks. But we do have BCs coming. And I think with this amount of vessels and with a dropship, I think that he still has life. Maybe he actually got it top middle, but BCs straight to top left. That would be the move for me. Also, BCs to mid right could be great. You can use the BCs to focus down the Nidus. You know, they can't save it. You know, you can't Darkstorm a Nidus, right? So that could also be a smart move from Ssak. Ssak not overexpanding here. Making sure that he does not get picked apart, does not overextend or try to take too many bases at once. Vessel does fall. Second vessel does fall. It would be really nice if Ssak could repair these vessels, but I guess he feels like he's going to be able to save them, but I can already see it now. Like, one move where he's not paying attention, I could see that entire army getting completely evaporated. So he does need to be careful. He still has 8 vessels despite losing about 4, so first couple BCs should be out on the map pretty soon though. They do have a long build time, but they should be out in the near future. Finally, we see some ultras coming out for Hyun. We haven't really had any action on the top left side in the past like 5 minutes or so. Like, everything seems to be completely focused on mid right. This like contain through the center of the map is kind of funny to me. There's like a contain outside of the top middle base. There's like a random army, you know, above the minerals in the middle. Then there's, of course, a massive army in the middle, and then bottom right cutting off any counterattacks to bottom right. Another radiate goes down. It's gonna be another lurker kill. Oh, I just realized Zerg is still only +1 armor. Remember he sniped that evolution chamber, you know, a few minutes ago? Did he never rebuild his evolution chamber? Terran's at like 3-3 now, isn't he? +1 versus 3-3, that is a massive discrepancy. Somehow Hyun is still climbing in terms of supply though. He's at 130. The BC's not able to commit, I guess. I feel like he could though. Get the spore colony, then knock down the Nidus. That would just open up the vessels to reign supreme over mid right. But he is just gonna hang around, deal with these ultras. These ultras did basically nothing. Well, I guess that's not true. They did kill a lot of fire bats actually, despite having not great upgrades. But Ssak, he's putting down his 5th base now. He's gonna have more bases than Zerg in just a minute. And Zerg's army, it's just tiny. There's no other way around it. There's 4 ultras, 1 defiler, and like 4 lings trying to attack bottom middle. There's a bunker set up though. There's tanks set up. And there's still these vessels that I was waiting for to come over. And look how fast these ultras died because they don't have armor. Like 10 Marines killed 4 ultras. That's crazy. Oh, that's a sad ultra. The Dark Swarm comes down at the last moment. He's like, dude, you didn't help at all in this fight. Are you just mocking me with that Dark Swarm? Got a small counterattack again from Hyun, this time at the natural. Ooh, not able to snipe the Defiler, and the Dark Swarm actually does get down at the choke. But the Defiler does end up getting sniped. Bottom middle is going to get taken down by Hyun, at least force a liftoff. But Ssak with his additional base, he'll just transfer over there. And his army's already here. So again, this is really not going to do that much. But it does, I guess, get some units off the right side of the map. And an instant counter down to this bottom right natural base. BC's intercept though. And I don't see a Defiler again. So these ultras are just going to get owned. And it really does look like Hyun is just kind of running out of steam. Like, I realize he's making these attacks at mid-left, but they're just not that strong. Like, there's as many BCs as there are Ultralists. Vessels haven't been taken down. Maybe Hyun's making some headway. He does have a lot of production. No, these Lings are just getting mowed down. Here come the Scourge. Okay, this could be great, though. Ooh, goodbye. Wow. Those BCs soaked up a lot of Scourge. He does end up losing 2 BCs, but saving all the vessels was critical. And as Cruiser's pointing out, look at that gas. Hyun, he is basically gas-starved at this point. His main and that gas should be mined out, or depleted, I guess. His top middle, probably going to be depleting pretty soon, which means we're going to have like a 1.5 base gas Zerg versus a Terran that's on 3 fresh gas. Well, here comes some more Lings, Lurkers, and Ultras. There's just too much bio, and there's just a random army at the right side of the map. Snipes that hatchery, that gets taken down. 70 supply lead for Hyun. He's desperate at this point. He's just trying to flood the map with units, but his units just aren't strong enough. He doesn't have critical mass of any of them. He also isn't able to get a Defiler across the map during any of these attacks. He does force a liftoff onto bottom middle, but Ssak's just going to walk over here and save it. Bunker ends up getting taken down, but there's just not enough. There's been no counter to the BCs other than those. Wow, he's got so many BCs. He doesn't even have those starports rallied towards it. 4 starport BC. What the heck, man? You know, I've been looking at Ssak's army and thinking like, man, his bio ball looks pretty small, but I must be missing something. But the reason it's so small is because it's got like 80 supply and battle cruisers. Man, I really wish Hyun had like a couple of Defilers and a couple Hydras so he could Plague and Darkstorm and kill the BCs. But he just doesn't have it. That Defiler's gonna die. He gets a Plague off onto one of the BCs, but he's not able to kill it. So it just forces a lift. I don't know what those drones are doing, but they are long distance mining or something. Well, that's hilarious. Trying to take mid-left as a desperation base. So many BCs, so many vessels, +1 armor's already, or +1 weapons done on his air, so the Scourge cannot contest. More BCs coming out. Did he find about those? Yeah, he did find out about those that were in his base. So he's legitimately got something like 6 or 7 BCs out right now, just an absurd amount. We haven't seen a single Yamato, but you know, Yamato's actually really good versus Defilers too. Darkstorm doesn't nullify the Yamato damage. That could be a worthwhile investment for Hyun. This bottom middle attack. Okay, there we go. There's the Yamato. And see you later, Defiler. See you later. I don't know what that was. I think he shot away. Well, Hyun's not giving up just yet. But there are 3 DCs here. Okay, this is what we needed. Sniping those vessels. I wish he could have done that earlier. He does kill a lot of SCVs. There's still Lings racking up SCVs. It's starting to get wild, but I think that was kind of the last ditch hope there from Hyun. His mid-left base got taken out. You can see that his main and natural, now his minerals are mined out. So now his econ just is really down in the dumps, but at least he does have 50 drones. If he can somehow get top right and somehow deal with these BCs, you know, he's not out of it. His fly is decent. That's a good play. Unfortunately, that Spore did not want to kill any of those vessels. He got off like 4 shots and didn't kill a single one. Oh no, BCs get to top middle, and there is no defense. Drones are going to have to be escorted towards top right. More BCs coming in to try and save this base, which they will. Irradiate on every single one. BC's going to clean them up. Lings may actually finally be able to knock down this command center at bottom middle. It looks like he's focus firing it. Yeah, he actually killed it. That's nice. That's really good. But nothing to answer this Marine Medic ball. And if this base falls, you can see that the BCs are still doing work at top middle. Hyun is going to be on 1 base mining. And BCs, did they get plagued? It looks like they just took some Hydra shots. But this top right base, it is gone. And unfortunately, this may be the last hoorah from Hyun here. He just doesn't have much. What is that, 12 Lings, 4 Hydras. There's still 5 BCs just sitting here trying to hold the line. And he does not have any more anti-air. 61 supply versus 172. Hydras desperately trying to get rid of these BCs. But D-Matrix just goes off. What a spell that is. Triple D-Matrix. The BC that has 1 health is still alive somehow. Don't know how he managed to survive. And that's it. GG comes out. Hyun, he is going to fall to Ssak. And Ssak played that pretty well. You know, it can get scary when you don't do anything about Zerg's third base. The initial drop didn't do that much damage, but sniping the Evolution Chamber was obviously a game-changing move. As we pointed out, like at the 18-minute mark, Zerg still only had +1 carapace. I think Terran was at 3-2. That is a massive discrepancy. Ultras did almost no damage when they initially came out, and that was a big investment. I think he bled off like 4 Ultras initially, and then 4 more, so, you know, upwards of 8 or so. It's a big loss. But either way, I did like Hyun's build. I think it was interesting to go for 3 hatch, interesting 4th base position. But it is what it is. He'll be facing off versus Paralyze in the losers match. But now we're going to be getting into our winners match, which should be Hero versus Ssak. And now I think we're going into best of 3s. And I think this is going to be a rough one for Ssak. But ZVT is Hero's worst matchup. Maybe Ssak can do it. So in the top left of Dark Origin, it is Ssak. And in the bottom right, our Zerg, it is Hero. And you know, I did just cast... Oh! 4-pool, baby! We've got a 4-pool on Dark Origin. This is actually a very, very strong build, especially when you get spawns like this. Terran cannot really full wall unless they're going to full wall their main. And they generally don't do that. If they're going to wall, they usually wall their natural. And Ssak, you may have done goofed, my man, if this is a depot. But is it going to be an 8 racks? It is going to be an 8 racks. How far does he want to build it? If he builds it off to the side, I don't know about this. This is very far away. He will, of course, have his Marines as fast as he possibly can. But they're going to be out in no man's land. They're going to have no help from their SCVs. The pool is almost already done. And Zerg's going to see that this guy went for a forward racks. Please scout the left side. Please. He's going to miss it. I don't think I've ever seen a Zerg scout like the left side or the right side. But it would have been brutal if he forced the cancel here. It would have been hilarious. Now, generally Zergs don't scout this quickly. So actually, Ssak may think something's up as soon as he sees this drone. And he may actually just immediately rally his Marines into his main. An instant gas from him. Well, this is not going to go according to plan. He's cutting econ, or cutting minerals. Cutting Marines to get his gas. And he does not need gas in this game. Yeah, an immediate cancel. He needs Marines ASAP. Now, all he can do is really hide his Marines. because they can't get back to the base. I don't think he can actually ever Bryan save his main. I think his best course of action is to maybe just mine as long as possible, then go for a drill, float his command center to the bottom right, and hope that his SCVs and Marines can win the game. Oh, he's going to float over here. Okay, that's another option. Didn't think about that. But yeah, he definitely cannot hold his main. You knew that that was just not going to happen. And actually, Ssak with the big brain move, Hero's in trouble. Yes, he forced this guy to lift off his command center, but there's a bunker here, man. You're not killing this. Does lose that Marine. Well, if Hero wants to win this game, he's got to go before the barracks lands, and he's got to go before, you know, SCVs can get in position and repair. I mean, all the SCVs are out of position. This is your moment. You killed one Marine. You cannot transition this into a normal game. You just got to pray that you can kill the bunker. I think he missed this opportunity. Oh, maybe not. What are those Marines doing out of the bunker? He got two of them. And the SCVs, like I said, they're not in position. Ssak. How did he lose that? I thought he had it. Oh my gosh, that's a heartbreaking way to lose as Ssak. You feel like you get the bunker up. You've got so many SCVs. You know this guy four-pulled. How can you possibly lose? But he got a little bit too greedy pulling those Marines out of the bunker. And that was literally the only way that Hero could have won that game. So Ssak has got to be kicking himself for that. And that means Hero, in a series that we just started, is already up 1-0. Let's go into game 2. I'm sure Ssak is furious about that game. I would not be surprised if he 8-racks is here. Okay, in the top middle. I know he's going to take out his anger on this game. It is Ssak. And in the bottom right, I would love it if he 4-pulled back-to-back. But I don't think I've really seen almost anyone ever do that. It is Hero. So that was literally the only moment that Hero could have won that game. He was not droning at all. In fact, I think he lost his drone in the main. So he was on 3 drone income. I don't even think you can build Lings nonstop with just 3 drones. It's a brutal way to lose. But so far, Ssak has not let it affect him. He is not, you know, like tilted off and on BBS in the center or something crazy. This is going to be just a depot from him. Now, he did try and go into gas after his 8-racks last game. And Apocalypse, you can full wall top middle. I wonder if he will try and go for, you know, just a normal 1-1-1 here without an 8-racks. It's a powerful build. You know, we don't see it that often. Could catch Zerg off guard. So I hope we get to see it, because it would be an unfortunate scenario where we got the actual 8-racks into 1-1-1 potential, and then, you know, the 4-pull just ended the game immediately. It's so rare that we see 1-1-1 that it looks like it is going to be 1-1-1, and it is an 11 gas. So we'll see what he wants to do with this. 11 gas is kind of the go-to meta in TVP. I don't know exactly what this means in Terran versus Zerg. If this was like a foreigner playing, I would be thinking that maybe he wants to get this, you know, slightly faster gas so that he can have an additional, you know, 20 or so gas and, you know, go all in 2-port Wraith. But with this being pro play, maybe he just wants to get the Vulture slightly faster and maybe catch Zerg with, you know, a Sunken not completed. Not too sure. And then, you know, transition into Command Center. Either way, the drone does find Ssak first. And that's going to be a big scout for him. Definitely need to know whether this is gas or not. And now he'll be able to plop down the Sunken at his natural. And shouldn't really take any damage. He does see the factory timing. And even though he's not a Terran player, I'm sure he'll be thinking like, this This factory seems faster than normal. Okay. Ssak put one more back on gas. Alright, interesting. Oh, did the Marine miss it? No, he knows that it didn't get out. Yeah, I think this is a smart move to keep the drone in the main and see if this guy's actually going to go back onto gas or not. Now that he's confirmed that Ssak has not put 3 on gas, somehow he gets away. But now that he knows that 3 are not on gas, he doesn't have to worry about 2-port Wraith. But he does know that there is definitely going to be a starport before the command center. So that's a nice move. He knows that he needs to rush his Hydrogen or, you know, rush the Spire ASAP and do his best to try and hide these overlords as well as possible to prevent being supply blocked. The natural, I saw the sunken is coming in. I think Vulture's already out, so this could be the power of that. Oh, I was gonna say this could be the power of that 11 gas. He can sneak in there, maybe potentially, but the Vulture kind of just screwed around. Didn't move across the map immediately. Ling bought time, and no longer will he be able to get into the natural. Lair is still not done, so this Wraith actually can deal a lot of damage. Well, maybe not. Is that a Hydrogen? I don't think that's a Hydrogen. I think that's a hatchery at the natural. So there's no Hydrogen, no Spire, at least not completed. I think it just went down at the natural now. So Hero needs to be very careful. He needs to hide these overlords. He's hidden one at top right, and he's got one hidden at mid left. And look at this, we do have Wraith into straight science facility. This is going to be science vessel follow-up. It's not going to be, you know, Valkyrie or something crazy. And we could have, you know, like a 3 racks into 4 racks into 5 racks tank vessel timing. And that used to be very, very strong when 111 was the go-to build. First Wraith is out, and he's looking for some overlords. I wonder if Hero got Burrow to help save these drones. His gas looks kind of high. I'm not sure if he actually got it, but that can also be a counter to the Wraith play. Overlord is going to die, and he's going to kill another one. This is really, really good for Ssak right now. Potentially double supply blocking Hero before the Spire completes. That's a lot of damage. Look at that. Spire completes, and he can only build a Scourge. That's really good damage. Really good. He's going to get a 3rd one, maybe, before that Scourge pops. It's going to be razor thin. Either way. Oh, he does. Okay, there's the Scourge. Finally going to push this back. 3 Overlords for a single Wraith. That is mega worth. That is one of the most valuable Wraiths I've ever seen with an opener like this. And because he supply blocked him so long, he was able to skip turrets for a decent amount of time. Look at him. And he doesn't even have that many built. That allows him to, you know, prioritize getting vessels, prioritize getting irradiate, you know, expensive tech. I still see he's only on 1 barrack, so it doesn't look like he ramped up his barracks just yet. But overall, Ssak is playing this out really nicely. He is going to lose his Wraith eventually to these mutas, but he does get another scout off. Sees that Zerg is just droning. I don't think he's building that many mutas. And also confirms that there's no hive, and I take that back. This is actually going to be more mutas than I anticipated. I guess you got to remember, Hero doesn't know whether it's Vessel or Valkyrie or what it is. But when he comes in here, he is not going to like eating this irradiate. And it should do a lot of damage. Oh, he's in position, and wow, that was not a good split. I guess luckily for Hero that Muta got sniped down by the turret, so it didn't actually deal that much damage with the irradiate. What did Ssak mess up here? He didn't have enough turrets? Oh my gosh, Hero. I thought that as soon as he saw the irradiate, he was going to turn around, but instead he's like, that's nice, bro. What's that? Is that supposed to tickle me or what? He kills 3 turrets, forces a liftoff. Ssak doesn't have any other barracks. He's going to jump onto this bunker, and if this bunker dies, there is nothing to defend. Lings and mutas, they do have enough DPS. That Irradiate is not going to do enough damage. It does eliminate one or two of the mutas, but there's nothing to defend anymore. Ssak. Oh my gosh, I love the damage. I love the follow-up. But he just didn't have his stuff fortified. Oh my goodness, that is heartbreaking. If you're Ssak there, you feel like, what more could I have done with my Wraith, man? I supply blocked you forever. I delayed your mutas, like they didn't all come out at once. I guess he didn't have... I'm trying to think, like he had 3 turrets. I feel like 3 turrets is enough there. Maybe he needed to, instead of building that second vessel, like prioritize building more Marines? I'm not sure, but either way, Hero, again, I feel like he steals a win there, and that means he's going to get out in first place, so well done from him. You know, it's not like he played poorly. Like, I think Ssak had a good opportunity there, but kind of just let it slip. But I still think he's got a good shot in the remaining 2 matches versus Paralyze and Hyun, but yeah, man. That's rough. So we're going to be going into our losers match next. It is going to be Paralyze versus Hyun. So this time around we've got a ZVP. Let's see if let's see if Paralyze can find success versus Hyun, since he didn't find success versus Hero earlier. Okay, in the top left, again back on Dark Origin, we do have Paralyze. And in the bottom right, we do have Hyun. I'm trying to think back to styles for Hyun. I don't remember exactly how he plays in ZVP. I'm going to guess that he's probably going to play similar to what Hero did on Retro, which is probably just, you know, power to 5 and 6 hatch. I don't expect Hyun to do a 973 or, you know, do something crazy like a Lurker Bust. I do expect it to just be a normal build. Meanwhile, Paralyze, I think he's probably going to gateway expand again. I think you can get a lot of pressure done, or a lot of work done, on a map like Dark Origin. The minerals are set up pretty decently there. You know, third base, you can get behind the mineral line. You can get behind the main mineral line. I guess the one area that isn't that great is the natural, but I really do like the setup for the third. Paralyze not sending out a probe, so maybe it isn't actually going to be gateway. This could actually be Nexus first, but that seems very dangerous on a 2-player map. Either way, it does seem like Hyun's going Nexus first. He's going to take his third base as his natural. Interesting. And maybe this is just a read on the player. Maybe Hyun is well known for going 12 hatch, and that's why Paralyze is thinking about going 12 Nexus? Or is it... Okay, it is going to be 12 Nexus. I thought maybe he's just going to go for a delayed Forge. But now, it should be Forge. Keep in mind, despite it being a 2-player map, he didn't scout. Like, this is just blind 12 Nexus here. Actually, I think it was technically an 11 Nexus. But either way, that's a risky move. Forge coming down. In Hyun's main pool coming down. Nothing out of the ordinary there. Most likely going to patch his natural in just a moment. I wonder what Paralyze will be thinking when he sees that there's no lings and no hatch at the net. Oh, this is a good mind game. If he sends the drone to top right, it looks like he's not. It looks like he hasn't expanded yet. And it may force Paralyze to build, you know, like 2 cannons or something in response. But he's too smart for that. He knows that it was a hatch first. And he does put down a gateway. But you could see he was a little worried. He did pull down a second probe to kind of, you know, wall off if he needed to. But this is about as ideal of an opener as it can be for Protoss. Really going to scale his tech quite nicely. Of course, Hyun has a great opener too, but anytime I see Protoss get away with not having to build a cannon this long, just as a non-Protoss player, I feel like it's a really good situation for you in PvZ. Gas is done, and we've already mined about 50 gas for Hyun. Lair should be coming in pretty soon. Immediate cybernetics. It's a 320 cybernetics, so Paralyze really scaling his tech nicely. Lair coming in at the third base. I'm not sure if the probe... Oh, he does see the Lair, so he knows that Lair tech is coming in. He doesn't have to worry about, Hydroden or anything. And most likely that's going to trigger a Stargate. The de facto opener. In BSL, we have seen some players go double Stargate. And generally, when I watch players go for something that crazy, it means that pro players have been also going for that type of move. So I wonder if Paralyze will double Stargate in this game, since he knows with pretty good certainty that this is going to be fast Spire. First Zealot moving out, and like I was saying, the third base, I think, has a good setup for Zealots getting into a good position. And so far, I've only seen 2 Lings. Hyun may have overdroned here, may get punished immediately, but as I say that, look at that. The positioning of the Lings prevent that one open area for the Zealots to get in, and actually, this Zealot is going to do absolutely nothing. Maybe he can find a kill onto a drone? Oh! Okay, I take it back. He didn't do nothing. He got 1 drone. I think that's pretty much all you can really ask for in a situation like that. But also, Hyun did not overling. So I would say it was like an evenish trade. If Hyun had built 4 more Lings, then I think it was definitely a win for Protoss. But as played, I think it's fine. Oh, that is a really good block. Yet somehow still 2 Lings get in. We'll scout that the Citadel's relatively quick. And can he get some probe kills? The answer is not yet. Not yet. Can he get that guy? He gets 1. And that Dragoon, he's a pacifist, man. He's not fighting. Get him! No, he let him take down the pro brother. 2 kills, and look at this. He's ruined the mining. Okay, thankfully Paralyze realizes that, but he's still ruined. He's still got 4 on gas in his main. So 2 Lings essentially taking down 3 because one of those probes not mining the minerals. That is really nice for Hyun. It does look like the Corsair got 1 kill. I don't think he's going to find another. And it is looking similar to how Hero played. It is 5 hatch. 6 hatch, I'm sure, is coming in pretty soon. I'm going to guess that's the Evolution Chamber, but it could also be Hydroden. Ooh, maybe he can actually get a second Overlord. He's going to get it. Still no Scourge. Wow, he actually gets it, and he's going to be able to get away. So that's really nice for Paralyze. 2 Scourge, or 2 Corsairs, 2 Overlord kills, and he draws all the Scourge out of position. He can come back in for another Scout. I'm really loving it from Paralyze. Zerg's supply looks really low to me. His drone count looks pretty decent, but his just overall supply really, really low. Also, no 6 hatch just yet. Something seems like it went awry for Zerg here. Evolution Chamber is done, though. He will be scaling into his +1, I'm sure, pretty soon. That Corsair gets taken out. Oh, did I miss the Hydroden? I forgot it was at the natural. And this is going to be a 5 hatch. I think 5 hatch Hydra bus. I don't think this is intending to really go for mid or late game if he can help it. I think he's going to try and just overrun Protoss. So look at this timing. 5 Zealots, a single Goon. There's no real defense here. It's like 4 Hydras, and the Sin City is not that great. This could do good damage. Oh man, drone's going to have to be evacuated. I love the play from Paralyze. He's going to lose one of his Zealots, but he forced a drone, a drone transfer a little bit. He killed a couple Hydras. And then he backs off. That's definitely worthwhile damage to me. He's got a good probe count sitting at 48. He's got a second gate in his natural. He's got his Templar Archive done so he can have Storm coming pretty soon. He even baits the Scourge into the cannon. This really does look like a good situation to me. He's trying to poke in to see if the Hydras have moved out of position just yet, but it looks like Hyun has realized he doesn't have enough to move out. So he's just going to sit here and defend for now. And the lack of 6 hatch is really hurting Hyun. I think Paralyze also realizes, like, hey dude, you still don't have a 6 hatch, so this must be, you know, an intended bust. But actually, it's been a massive drone cycle for Hyun. He's gone up to 43 drones. He's just now putting down his 6th hatch. In Paralyze's main, you do see the block of gates finally going down. It does look like he's again going into 6th gate initially. Maybe intending to take a fast 3rd Nexus. Now, Hyun has done a good job to get rid of this Corsair count. It's now down to just 3. You know, it's no longer the scary 6 or 7. This could be a moment of opportunity for Hyun to switch into mutas and try and snipe some Templars. I think that would be a smart move. But instead, I don't see any real usage of that gas. Range coming in for Paralyze is going to be going into the Mascoon production pretty soon. Setting up to build additional gates also. And these Corsairs are not going to get taken down by the Scourge. 60 probes now on 2 bases. That's a lot of eco. If you're going to build this amount of probes, you really got to go something like 9 gate or 10 gate. And it does seem like he did just put down his 7th, 8th, and 9th gate. And surprisingly, Hyun did not attack at any point in this game. He instead took his 4th base. He's got 7 hatches. He's got, I'm going to assume that's probably another evolution chamber and Queen's Nest coming down. I don't think any other buildings, you know, match the layout of that. So we may actually get into mega late game here, because it seems like Paralyze is content with taking a 3rd base himself and not attacking, at least not just yet. One thing I am noticing for Hyun is I don't see any lurkers at all. Like, he has control over the center, but it's just Hydras. Storm can chew through Hydras really quickly. I would really like to see some lurkers or something coming in pretty soon. As I say that, I see Hyun has spent the majority of his gas. Maybe it's for mutas? Didn't see any of those being morphed into lurkers. I'm going to actually guess that this is mutas. Instead, it does look like it's just more Hydralisk. Alright. Oh, nope, there they are. I knew it, man. I was like, there's no way these Hydras are going to take this long to build. So Muta's coming out in the field. As I stated, not that many Corsairs. But Paralyze hasn't made any moves out on the map with his units just yet. So really not much of an opportunity with the Mutas at the moment. But supplies are getting dangerously close to even. If you factor the probe differential into the supply, 139 to 119 with a 14 worker gap, you know, Hyun is basically even in army supply. And generally, Zergs will win when they're even in army supply unless storms do killer damage. Paralyze needs to be careful. Here come the mutas though. Oh, snipes 1, goodbye. Gets a 2nd one. Does take a decent amount of damage on the mutas, but I'm gonna guess he lost 2 mutas for 2 Templars. That's definitely a worthwhile trade. And I'd like to get a click on the upgrades for Protoss. Man, these players don't like their buildings or units today. That goon's gonna take out that goon. That guy must have done something to that goon's family. He hates him. Probably gonna end up dying. This triggers a big attack from the Hydras. The Mutas tried to draw the units out of position, but Paralyze too smart for that. And Hyun is going to be pushed back. But Hyun, look at his eco, man. 66 drones versus 66 probes. With 7 hatch production, with Hive coming, with good upgrades. Protoss is on, what was it, 1-1 upgrade? So it's not like Protoss is sleeping on his upgrades. But Zerg is really killing it. That is a lot of eco now. 76 workers. I'd actually like to see more hatches come down for Hyun, especially since he's going to be going into Hive Tech, where he can start, you know, pumping out lings, which are super, super cheap. He does have his 8th hatch coming up. It's going to be a 5th base for him at top right. Still no lurkers. I'm very surprised to see no lurkers. It just, I don't remember the last game that's gotten to this point where I've seen Zerg be able to, you know, keep up with Protoss' army without having any lurkers. But so far, he's been able to, I guess. I mean, Protoss really hasn't made an attack. There we go. That's a huge swell of lurkers. What's that, at least 12, maybe 15 coming in? Observer gets taken out. This is so many. Absolutely so many. I would really love if he goes for a massive counter, cuts off, you know, the counterattack, or cuts off the army coming from the back, and then just trying to make a beeline to kill the natural on the main. You just find an opening at the natural on the probes. They get baited into some cannons. Lurkers instead set up in the middle of the map. There's not that many observers here. There's just one. If he can snipe the observer, Protoss is going to be in real trouble. Zealots are kind of bleeding off, and these units... Whoa, that's massive losses for Protoss. Decent storm there connects on some of the Hydras. Goons, wow, all the Zealots are gone. See you later. And like I stated, Zerg's on high tech. He's got triple evolution chamber. He's going to start going into Ling upgrades. There's the additional hatcheries that I was waiting for. So this is like legitimately 10 or 11 hatch production for Zerg. Absolutely insane production. One thing I didn't see was no Defiler. So for now, this Goon army is going to be strong. But as soon as the Defiler comes out, you know, this mostly Goon army is going to be nullified. Another big engagement from Paralyze. He's got to loop around the entirety of the left side just to get into the center of the map. There's no way he can get across the bridges. And he does have a good engagement here. He's now shot up to about 30 in supply. Ooh, Zealots on the top. They actually get some lurker kills. Hyun does not have that big of an army right now. I don't know where his stuff is, but this is definitely not all of it. Good Storm's going to eliminate a lot of the Lings. He's gotten rid of almost every single lurker so far. The Zealot count is dwindling. Dragoon count is still really high. Doesn't seem like there's that many Storms left over. Massive power spike kicking in for Protoss. I see +2 armor has now completed. Again coming in with this massive Goon army. Can Protoss actually make their way through? It does actually look like Protoss has critical mass here. You know, it can kind of snowball really quickly, and it seems like we've reached that point where where Protoss has the tipping point. Zerg is eating a lot of Storms. Storms hitting the Hydras, hitting the Lurkers. Lings are getting blown up also, but maybe Zerg can hold on. Supplies have plummeted for Zerg down to 105. Another good Storm. That one Lurker on the right side is doing work on the Goons. It's gotten so many free shots. But Protoss is now up 60 supply. Protoss is really crushing it with his macro. Every time I look, like, he's not missing a beat. He's like consistently 170. I don't remember seeing him ever dip to like 130. He's just like permanently near max. Another big Storm. I think Protoss has done it. I think Protoss is going to put through, man, that is a nasty Storm. Another big connection onto the Hydras, and he's breached the 4th base. There's a lot of hatcheries here. 3 hatches, they may end up dying. Zerg is still struggling at just 100 supply. Wow, this was a really solid move from Protoss. I thought Zerg had kind of done it once he got up that massive amount of lurkers. Once he had his hive tech, you know, the 10 hatch production. But he did not. Protoss hit a solid timing there with his 2-1 and takes game 1. So that was really, really nice and really clean from Paralyze. I was getting worried. I was like, man, you've got a lot of econ, but you're not doing anything with your army. You're just letting Zerg get half of the map, and generally that's just a disaster for Protoss. But really solid move in the center of the map. Really good engagements from Protoss. And now Hyun is 1 game away from being eliminated. Let's see if Paralyze can actually deliver the killing blow here as we go into Apocalypse. Okay, in the bottom left, he needs your energy, guys, otherwise he's going to be eliminated. It's Hyun. And in the bottom right, 1 game away from getting a match versus Ssak, it is Paralyze. The Paralyze did play a greedy opener in the first game with the 12 Nexus, you know, off of a no scout, by the way. Wonder if Hyun is thinking like, dude, you can't do that again. I'm just going to pool first, make sure that you do not get away with something insane. But at the same time, Hyun may also be thinking, there's no way you're going to go 12 Nexus again. That's so risky. And because of that, I would actually really like to see another 12 Nexus from Paralyze. I think the chances of it being pool first are kind of low. If you think back to how Hyun has played, just in general, didn't he pool first? Oh, not necessarily pool first, but didn't he go 3 hatch big econ versus Ssak? It feels like today he's really prioritizing big econ. So I would love to see a 12 Nexus here, but it is not going to be a 12 Nexus. It's actually going to be a double probe scout. I guess Paralyze's spidey sense is tingling. He thinks that it might be, you know, an early pool. But the double probe scout is also going to allow him the potential to go for a cannon rush. Can he avoid this overlord with his probe? The answer is going to be no, as it gets intercepted in the center of the map. But he could swoop around with that second probe and maybe catch him off guard. Is he going to go back? Is he going to go down to bottom middle? Ooh, there he goes. He's going to show a probe in the main. No, he's not. Oh, I thought he was actually going to show a probe in the main and then use the second probe to cannon the natural, but that's not going to happen. Instead, he's going to send both back here. I think the drone actually got off the first shot. Probe. Oh, he does get off the double pylon. And now, Mr. Hyun could be in some trouble here. Almost gets that drone. He needs to be able to jump this drone in before the probe can get the pylon and cannon up. He's able to get in 2 drones, and now this is completely denied. Now, Hyun did commit a lot for this. He pulled, like, what was that, 7 drones? That's a big loss for him. But Paralyze did commit 2 workers, so it's also a big loss for him. His Nexus is obviously way late now. But overall, I think this is a manageable position for Protoss. Like, I think he can play out of it, but he's definitely not in the position he really wants to be. Probe looking to get another drone kill, or get a drone kill. I don't think he sniped anything. But trying to get a kill there. Not able to find it. Third hatch coming down on location for Hyun. It is Forge Gate, and he's going to be scaling his tech quite nicely once again. This time it will be the cannon before the cybernetics, not going crazy mode here. And based on how well the mid-game and late game went for Paralyze on Dark Origin, I'm expecting to see the same thing this time. Massive probe count. Not really have, you know, some mid-game 2-base timing. Instead, just go into mid-game with a massive eco. Try and get your 3rd base. You know, sit on the high ground, try and get your 4th base. And then it's going to be really hard for Zerg to attack into that. But maybe he'll have something planned differently this time. I do want to point out that spawns are really good for drops for Zerg. If Protoss is ever out of position, a Doom drop into the main could be devastating, especially if Protoss is in the center of the map, where he would, you know, it would take him light years to get back to defend. So I guess that will be also something we have to keep in mind as the game progresses. Worker counts 23 to 21. This so far looks really good to me for Zerg. Stargate coming in. It's not nearly as far along as it was last game in comparison to Zerg. And first couple Zealots moving out onto the field. I think Ling should be able to clean it up quite easily though. Actually, where's all this gas going for Hyun? There's no lair in the main, no lair at the 3rd base. Maybe it's at the natural? I mean, I'm going to assume it's at the natural. There's no way he's floating 300 gas, right? No, it's not at the natural. Where is it? Where is Hyun's gas going into? Did I just miss it at the 3rd? No, he just has a lot of gas for some reason. This is weird. And he's going 4 hatches of follow-up. Not sure exactly what this is. With all this gas, is going to be like double hydrogen? But he's gone 4 hatches. This is really something else. 5 hatch while mining all this gas. Okay, 5 hatch hydra, no lair? Interesting. Hyun clearly wants to just end this game. He does not want to get into a mid-game with Paralyze, I guess, despite what I thought being in good position last game on Dark Origin. I guess Hyun has thought otherwise. He does not want to play big-time macro versus him. He wants to at least have a chance to kill this guy in the early stages, and I guess if it fails, of course he will have the potential to get into a big macro game with all his production. Of course, there's going to come in here and still not see the lair, so I wonder what he's thinking. An Overlord dies. Uh-oh. Could be a double Overlord kill for Paralyze. Multiple Hydras being produced, and we'll push the Corsair back, but pretty big supply block. This really does hurt Hyun's timing. He's got Evolution Chamber at his natural, so he was rushing also +1. Interesting build from Hyun here. Corsair does confirm the lair. And Templar Archive about halfway done. So Paralyze just kind of going according to plan here. Like pretty damn normal. I don't see anything unusual from him. Everything looks very solid to me. Another Overlord going to die. This is starting to really hurt our Zerg player. He's got more Hydras being pumped out. Natural gas coming down for him just now. And that gas bank that he had a moment ago, well actually, it's completely gone. He must have put all that gas into his upgrades, like the +1 weapon and maybe range and speed, because he doesn't have that many Hydras actually, overall. So it's definitely not gone into that. Fourth gate coming in for Paralyze. And wow, more Hydras being produced. I guess he must think that an attack is coming any moment. It looks like it's actually a mix of drones and a mix of Hydras. And of course, there's this time around, not going to really find any opening to get some damage done. Ooh, a DT. I think this is the first DT we've seen all series long, but it does get detected by these links, so he knows it's coming. This should do limited amounts of damage. This time around, it does look like Paralyze is actually ramping up his gateway count quite considerably. I think he's gone into 6 gate already. He's only at 46 probes in comparison to, I think, he was around like the 50 mark last game. So maybe he's the one that wants to actually just hit a timing here. 6 hatch coming down for Hyun. I think that's a sunken coming down at his natural. But Paralyze is looking like he could be on the move pretty soon because he's still cutting workers. Or actually, as I say that, he does pump out 2 more. But does have a lot of production capabilities himself. They're really attacking? It's just 5. Yeah, I think it's smart to just back off for now. And Hyun is setting up like he's going to build another hatchery at bottom right. I don't know about this, though. Yes, he has 6 hatch production. But it doesn't really seem like he's got an army that can contest Protoss. And I don't think he'll have one either. But as I say that, Zealots do move out and do actually try and engage. And this may have been an overstep. Zealots from the back are going to help out. But Paralyze needs to run. He does end up losing one of the Zealots. Takes a lot of damage on a couple others. But you can see Paralyze still sitting at just 50 probes. This is definitely going to be a timing from him. I saw the 7th and 8th gateway come in also. And he's got Templars banking up energy for quite a while now. He's going to have double storm available on multiple. If you think back to last game where Hyun skipped lurkers for so long, Paralyze is probably thinking like, well, if you're going to skip lurkers this long, I've got a moment of opportunity to actually just bust through. Like, you really got to have lurkers to stop Protoss timings. So he may be thinking along those lines where he may be able, thinking that he can exploit the timing. Well, here we go. First few Dragoons are out. These Zealots need to desperately run for their lives and not get caught. Looks like they are going to get caught, though. He's going to try and trade as well as he can. He made a beeline for the Hydras on the left side. 4 of them. I mean, I guess it's okay. Definitely not the damage he was looking for, but it's better than getting zilch. And Hyun is going to actually have a pretty damn high supply for what, in comparison to what Protoss is doing. Actually, Protoss is setting up like he's going to take a third Nexus. I'm very surprised that this is a third Nexus, because it really did seem like he was going to make an attack here. But he does have the 500 minerals. He's got a pylon set up over there already. Maybe it's because the Zealots died, and now he doesn't have anything to support these Dragoons? Not too sure. Maybe he's waiting for +2 armor. But the Nexus does come down. Zerg is now almost even in supply. 122 to 130. There's a better worker count for Zerg, so obviously much better econ for him. Upgrades, I don't remember what the upgrades are for Zerg. I'm going to guess it's +1 weapon. Yeah, +1 weapon. And Protoss, oh, there was actually a Muta switch. I didn't even notice that. So Muta's looking for some Templar kills. Ooh, there's one up top. Instead, he finds a juicy main completely vulnerable. Only 2 cannons and a single Dragoon to defend. But this draws all the units out of position. Look what Hyun's doing. He's attacking the top side. But I don't think Paralyze moved any of his Templars. If storms are going off, which they are, they should be able to hit a lot of the Hydralisks. He does hit a decent amount, but still, a lot of Zerg remains. Actually, Protoss hit a lot of the Hydras. You can see supplies plummet for Zerg down to just 90. The Muta's not feeling confident enough to engage onto the Dragoons. Another vulnerable mineral line. Pops a couple of probes, but not that many. Oh, big storm. Here, DT attacking something. Oh, he might actually kill that hatchery. Nope. Speed on the Overlord, plus the Mutas, plus the Hydras will save the day. But he did shut down that base for quite a while. Now, meanwhile, we've got Protoss transferring some probes over to his third base. That's going to get up and running. Critically for Protoss, he didn't lose that many Dragoons, I don't think. He can afford to lose Zealots, but Dragoons are really the backbone of your army. He did lose his Templars, I think he lost 2 there. But overall, I still like Protoss's position. Zerg has recovered their work count back up to 55. Muta's moving into position to snipe some more probes, but I don't think he's going to find much. The SimCity kind of backfiring for Protoss. He lost a couple of probes, not necessarily for free, but is down to just 46 workers. Now for Zerg, okay, there's the lurkers. This time around, he's gotten his lurkers much, much quicker in comparison to the last game. +2 power spike kicking in for Zerg also, so that's great for him. I'm going to assume Protoss is probably around 2-1 himself, so both players should be basically even in upgrades. I'd really like to know if Zerg has Hive just yet or not. I actually don't think he does. I don't remember seeing a Queen's Nest anywhere. Yeah, I don't see it. So this is just going to be Lair Tech for Zerg. Hydra Lurker Mutas. He's going to have a ton of stuff. And maybe after sniping those 2 or 3 Templars, maybe he can feel like he's got enough stuff to actually barrel in. I don't know. Protoss is so strong, especially if they can get onto high ground on this third base and natural. Now, what I'm wondering is, why are there so many lurkers being morphed over at mid-right? Is he just using them for defense, or is he potentially setting up for a drop? Remember, I said drops are pretty good on this map, especially with these spawns. Paralyze is acting like he wants to make an attack, but I don't know if he can actually get any damage here. There are a lot of lurkers. Muta's wreaking havoc on these pylons and trying to disrupt the mining at the natural a little bit. Ooh, big engage here. No storms just yet. I guess actually this is kind of a killer position for Protoss, because if Zerg comes from the high ground, he can just storm that ramp, and Hydras are just going to get blasted. And I think Hyun is making the smart move here. I don't think he can really defend bottom right, so he's just going to go for a massive counterattack. There were not that many cannons, and I don't think there's a single Templar there. But Paralyze recognizing, like, hey dude, you're not even trying to defend, you must be going for a counter. Muta's trying to support the army also. All of these probes are going to die. This was a massive win for Hyun here, but he's going to lose a lot of army. Does this trigger Paralyze to just all in? He's going to lose a ton of Hydralisks. Storm. No Storm. Well, that was definitely a win for Zerg. Zerg does lose his 4th base, but he eliminated like 12 probes, kills the 3rd base, may even get a cancel on the 4th base, eliminated a couple of Templars also. Not very many Storms available for Protoss, and Protoss, I think, kind of has to do something here. I don't think he can transition. His probe count is way too low. But look at how fortified the Zerg position is. There's so many Hydras, there's so many Lurkers, it's on high ground. The Mutalisks, I think they're still alive, but they're not here to help. Storm so far, really good, but it's still high ground, man. Yeah, these Lurkers are just doing work. You can see Protoss shoots down in supply. Zerg sitting pretty at 122. This is a really good situation for Zerg. Yeah, I think Paralyze is doing the smart move. He's double expanding now. That attack was not going to work. All he can really do is try and expand. Oh, a drop? Drop in the main? You knew it was coming, man. Drops are just so good on this map. And like I said, he attacks when he's out of position. And this feels like it's Hyun's game to lose at this point. He knocks down one of the gates. Can he get some more Lurkers down for... okay, that was devastating damage. That is some damage. He lost like 15 Hydras there. Paralyze did not send his whole army. Zerg trying to do a run by. And now he's going to lose a lot of Lurkers up here. Wow, that was actually devastating damage. Lost a lot of Hydras and Lurkers there. And now with the bases up and running, Paralyze may actually be able to come back. Another load up coming in. Zerg, I can tell you he cannot afford to have another drop like that happen. He needs to at least spread his units out so he can start knocking down some of these key buildings. Oh, is he gonna get stormed? There's an Archon here, man. Where's the storm? There's a decent storm on top of the Overlords. Archon, so tanky. Oh wow, actually more Hydras than I expected got unloaded. And he is going to start knocking down some more gateways. That gateway at the top should get knocked down. Goons trying their damnedest to deal with these Lurkers. Meanwhile, I am seeing that Zerg does have their 4th base, but it's not running. They have not transferred any drones over there. Oh wow, picking off the Templar Archive would be huge. Paralyze is shadowing the movement very well though. This counterattack to top middle, I think this is going to work. Where's the storm? Where's the storm? No storm. Ooh, was there a drop? Oh no, those are mutas. I was hoping that was actually a drop of Lurkers onto that base, but Protoss actually cleans up the drop. With the low probe count, he's got a massive army. He's able to split up his defense and hold all the positions. Now, it's not like Zerg has a huge drone count, but it's definitely not bad. 45 is pretty decent. But so far, the drops have kind of been not that great. They're not getting the value that I was expecting them to get. Protoss has gotten another power spike with their +2 weapon. Zerg, I think, is still on just lair tech. I don't think Hive is coming. I don't think he's gone into +3. Yeah, he's still on lair. So this is getting awkward. He's mined out in his natural. All Paralyze has to do is kind of not die to these drops, and he's in a prime position to crawl his way back into this game. Another massive drop being loaded up. I don't see that much defense for Paralyze in his main. Oh, actually, I take that back. All these goons and Storm moving into position. This could be a mistake. Yeah, you gotta turn around. Loses one Overlord. Not sure if that one was actually loaded up or not. Oh, Templar. I guess the mutas bait out some Storms, but that was not what he was looking for. Doesn't get a single Templar kill. These Overlords, well, they're kind of damaged, honestly. If they go in for round 2 of a drop, they may end up getting picked off. But it looks like he's going to find an opening at the bottom side of the base, but there's not really a lot of area to, you know, run around. Okay, he's going to drop on these cannons. Wow, that is a lot of Hydralisks. This Cybernetics is going to die. This Templar Archive most likely going to die. All these cannons are going to die. And finally a good drop for Hyun here. It does trigger... Oh! Not able to get past that forge because of the Sim City. The Nexus going to die. Oh, that's a good storm. Another good storm! Really good storms. The rest of the Hydras on the right side are not helping. I think Paralyze is going to hold again. He does lose a lot, though. Cybernetics plus Citadel plus Templar Archive all fell. And he lost his Nexus. He wasn't really mining there. But, you know, Nexus, you could at least use that for supply. So, big loss there for Paralyze. He's still got his 2 bases, though. He knows that Zerg is, you know, kind of struggling for resources because his main natural's mined out. 4th base is, you know, just really coming up. 3rd base has been mined for a while, so that's going to actually be, you know, not mining in the near future. Another drop coming in. I don't see a Templar. I see an Archon. Okay, there's the Templars. And good storm. Good storm. Really good storm. If you can get another one on top of these Lurkers or Hydras, that'd be fantastic. Oh, the Templars pop out at the worst time. Really nice from Hyun to catch those. And this may actually be too much damage. He's starting to lose a lot of his gateways too. He's now down to just 5 gates. Okay, Zerg finally forced Protoss to move the majority of his army out of position, and he's going to immediately counter with all these Hydras and Lurker. And this Goon army is going to be pushed back, and with the high ground being taken, Zerg can now start knocking on the doorstep of either this 3rd base or the 4th base. He's got 3rd base on the mind. He wants to take it down, and we may be going to game 3 here, so I don't see how this army can be stopped. And in trying to hold on, gets taken out. Templar gets taken out. Storm. I don't think there's enough storm. Another storm, but the dodging is great. Hyun, only one more Goon remaining, one more Archon. And this is probably going to be GG. There's just no production for Paralyze. Like, almost all the gates are taken out. It's just those right there and 2 gates at the top. Those are going to be unpowered pretty soon or just directly killed. Can't get it focused down. Zerg is just rallying everything he can across the map. Protoss has lost the majority of his supply down to 67. I think this is going to be all she wrote. Gateway about to die. Yep, there it is. Paralyze. He is going to tap out, and that means Hyun will win game 2. Crazy game. Really, really close. I thought that with the good defense from Paralyze on the drops, that actually he had crawled his way back into the game despite losing his 3rd base. But Hyun, relentless with the drops, picked off all the key buildings, and now he brings it back to 1-1. Let's get into game 3 and see who can finish the job here. Will it be Hyun or will it be Paralyze? Okay, in the top left we do have Hyun, and we've got cross spawns this time as Paralyze is spawning in the bottom right. So we had Nexus first into attempted Forge or Cannon Rush, and then into a Nexus follow-up. Wondering if he'll try to go Gateway expand this time, you know, give Hyun the full gauntlet, try and hit every opener possible. With it being a 4-player map, and again, you know, Hyun showing he wants to play Hatch first, I'm going to say what I said on Apocalypse. I want to see another 12 Nexus. I think this guy's just not playing aggressive. Why not? Why not play big eco into him? But instead, he's going to go for a 9-gate. Well, I'm assuming it's going to be a 9-gate. I guess I could be wrong, but I'm pretty confident that it's a 9-gate. Ooh, and I would have lost this game because there's the 9 pool, and that would have been an immediate game-winning move for Hyun. There's the gateway coming down, and I think it actually was a 10-gate from Paralyze. Either way, it's still a gateway opener. Probe not going to find Hyun at bottom left. May be able to get a little bit of a glimpse of this Overlord, so he'll know that Zerg is at top left. But so far, Overlord has not been spotted. And I wonder what Hyun will do with this 9 pool. Is he going to all in with this? Is he going to try and, do what he's normally done, which is gone 5 hatch, 6 hatch? So far, everything leads me to believe that he is. This drone is trying to scout top right. He really wants to know where Paralyze is. Maybe he's not. Maybe he's just going to take top middle as his hatch, just like he did on Dark Origin. And there it goes. Sixlings for Hyun. They are out in the field. And Paralyze has a decision to make. Does he hide this Zealot out in the darkness? Or does he keep it back to help defend his natural? Wow, fast gas for Hyun this time. 225 gas or so. So he is going to be ramping up his tech really quickly. No longer is this going to be a big-time macro. Oh, Zealot missed the Lings. But I do think that the Sim City is going to be pretty tight for Protoss. The second Zealot, I think, just popped out. Probe in position. First probe gets taken out, though. That sucks. And now Protoss is in the dark, and there's an opening. He let him in. Oh, no. And with Zerg getting fast gas, this could be for immediate speed. And it's the full 6 Lings also. It's not just two Lings or something that you can deal with probe. Like, you're gonna have to keep your Zealot here forever. This is a nightmare scenario for Paralyze. He's gone for a counter. He does force out a couple more Lings, but I don't think he's really gonna kill anything here. He's gonna, of course, take down, a Ling or two, but he's not getting any drones. And I just saw Hyun use that gas. He is going Speedling. This is really bad for Paralyze. He still has no Nexus. I'm not sure if he has a cannon at his natural. I hope he does, because you gotta be betting that Speedlings could be on the way. Looks like Hyun got supply block there. 18 out of 18, the dreaded, what was it? Second Overlord, first Overlord supply block for you. That really does hurt. But it doesn't look like it is actually a Ling all-in. I'm surprised that it wasn't a Ling all-in, especially with this amount of Lings actually in the main. But Hyun instead is just going to try and transition out of this. It does force out... did he force out a cannon in the main? No, there is no cannon in the main. Oh, there is a cannon in the main. I knew he did. I was like, oh, he broke one. There it is. And that's going to really help out immensely with the Lings. Now the Lings really can't do that much damage except for maybe take down the assimilator, but I cannot tell you how far ahead Zerg is right now. 3 hatch. Nexus is so late. Layers coming in. Gas, like, he's not even mining gas yet, is Protoss. And Layers already halfway done. Another Zealot dies. Can he get that one too? The answer is not yet, at least. There's the Cybernetics. And like I said, the assimilator can get taken down. Also, I guess that Cybernetics can get taken down. Can he get force a cannon? Wow, big win for Hyun, man. This is really, really good for him. This is exactly where you want to be. If you can get Lings in like this, you're just at a massive advantage. Can he get that Zealot? Oh, he got him. I don't think tech has been put down for Zerg just yet. Yeah, I didn't see a Spire, but I'm imagining that drone that just went behind the mineral line probably going to be for the Spire. And the amount of damage that Hyun has done, I mean, he can literally do whatever he wants. He could mass drone. I would love to see mass Muta, because this guy's gas is super low. It's late. There's the chance of it being double Stargate is, I think, kind of low. I don't think you're going to be running into, like 5 Corsairs by the time you have muted, or more than that. But there's no nat gas, no third gas for Hyun. It does seem like it's going to be, again, maybe just like a handful of mutas and Scourge to potentially harass the probe line, but nothing overwhelming. Finally, Paralyze is on the move, though. I think this is 3 Zealots. Hyun putting down or building some more Lings to deal with them. I think he's got enough right now. And all 3 are going towards top left. And unfortunately, they're split. He's out of position with one of these Zealots. This is not going to do any damage. Even gets his 3rd Zealot in the middle of the map spotted, and that's going to get taken down also. This is a disaster game for Paralyze right now. It literally could not have gone worse for him. Goodbye. And what do you do if you're in this position? Honestly, don't know. I think he's got to rush Citadel and get a Templar Archive out and kind of pray that maybe DTs can save the day for him. Because right now, if you just try and play a macro game versus a Zerg that's already going to 6 hatch, when you've lost all your Zealots, you don't have any Zealots to go for a timing, your Corsair is like just now out when the Spire has been done for, you know, like 30 seconds. I don't know what you do. Like, you can't go around the map and kill Overlords. That's just never going to happen. Hyun is completely in the driver's seat. I would love to see him just build, you know, a round of drones from every single hatch he has, going to like 45, and then just continuously build Hydras and put a lot of pressure onto Paralyze. Like, really bring it to him. It does seem like another Zealot got knocked out at mid-right. Scourge ends up falling, or Corsair ends up falling to the Scourge. This tells you how late it is. That second gate isn't even done for Protoss. That's how bad his econ is right now. It is way down in the dumps. I mean, technically he has a good probe count, but it's just been devastated because of how late his Nexus is. There's the evolution chamber that I was looking for. There's the first Muta. Second, okay. It's going to be most likely the 5. I think he's got that 5th one up at the 3rd base. And now he's got his eyes set on the prize. I don't remember there being a cannon at the natural Nexus. This may be able to get some probe kills. Let's see if he can actually get any done. Corsair got spotted again. And you are not long for this world, sir. Scourge most likely going to intercept. Well, not just yet. Not even speed yet on these Zealots. 9-minute no speed. Another gift. Zealot doesn't see anything. I guess he spots that there's 5 Mutas. But that's it. Now he has to respect that, hey, Mass Muta could be coming. But we know Hyun is just going into Mass Hydras as a follow-up. He is just completely outplaying Paralyze right now. Oh, actually, that's not violent. Oh, look at this anti-time. He gets like Sair also. Oh my word. It's the Sair and the Templar, and may end up making it out. And he's going to make it out, and he's got Scourge coming to try and intercept. Doesn't get another Corsair, but Hyun is crushing it this game, man. He is playing out of his mind. He's got the worker count that I was hoping for, the 46. He's kept the Corsair count down. He sniped the first Templar. Protoss has legitimately, like, what, 4 Zealots at his nat? That's it. Man, this is domination, this game. Okay, it's a little more than that. 6 Zealots and 2 Templars. Probe is taken down. Corsair. Price. Oh, he gets more of his Corsair's lost. And I don't... Okay, he did manage to kill at least one of these Mutas. So he at least doesn't get one-shotted on his probe line. But another Sair falls. How many Sairs has he built this game? Like 8? He has 1 remaining? Not looking good for our Protoss hopeful. And I think Paralyze has had enough. He's like, dude, I can't just sit here and just take damage over and over and over. I gotta do something. So he does make a move out here. He is going to eliminate all the Mutalisks, so that's, I guess, good. But he still gets the Sair. And the Zealots, they're spotted. Hyun doesn't even care. He's like, yeah, that's nice, dude. I'm just going to go kill you now. Or never mind, he does actually turn around. Does want all these Zealots to die. And you gotta fight. And that's exactly what Paralyze does. And unfortunately, his fighting army is just not that big. I think that a counter here could win the game. There are some Templars with energy to maybe save the day, but there aren't that many. There's only 2. And we don't even know if... Okay, I guess Storm is done. He jumped on the Hydras, or he jumped on the Templar, I mean. Snipes the Templar. Gateway. Well, actually, this may just be it. There's not a lot of Zealots. Not a lot of cannons either. Rally across the map. The Sim City is backfiring for Paralyze. None of his Zealots can get on top of these Hydras. Hydras are focusing down the cannons. And with more Hydras coming in as reinforcements, you gotta imagine that this may be the last stand for Paralyze. Look at just how much stuff is coming across the map. Supplies are, you know, pretty close, 90 to 83. But once that forge falls, and once the gates falls, that's going to be a really good angle for Zerg to come in here and swoop on these cannons. People are trying to get the energy that they need for some storms. I think they should have Storm in just a moment. They've been actually building them up for a little bit now. I guess he's not feeling confident to actually try and end it. He is just going to sit here, sit in an arc, maybe get some lurkers out. Maybe he's waiting for mutas. He does have a decent muta or a decent gas bank sitting at 800. He could definitely go for mutas, snipe those Templars before making a move with his Hydralisk. Zealot does actually get a single drone kill in the natural, but he needs way more than that. Zealot's trying to get on top of this army. That was a really good lurker morph. Saves the majority of those Hydras. Well, maybe not actually. There's an overwhelming amount of Hydras, or Zealots, but that's only because there's Hydras in the back. Really good Storm right there. Ends up killing off all those lurker eggs. But at what cost? Is he going to lose the rest of his lurkers, or the rest of his Zealots, I mean? And the answer is yes. I'll see you later. And Paralyze. He's got to fight now. He can't get bottled into his base facing mass Hydra Lurker contain. You're just never going to break out of it, but I don't think he has an observer. And already the lurker count is obscene. It's like 8 lurkers, 3 more being morphed. And behind this, Zerg not all in, taking a 4th base at mid-left. 57 drones, killer econ. Probably Zerg has +2 at this point. I'm just gonna guess. Protoss, after losing that forge, I'm sure is probably either at just +1 weapon or 1-1. And Robo just now finishing. Observatory just now coming in. So yeah, he couldn't do anything about this lurker contain. And that just buys Zerg so much time. Zerg now sending some more units across the map. I don't think he has dropped this time. I think if he does go in, it's a fake. Maybe just scouting, see how many gateways it is, or what the Templar count is, or if, you know... Oh, he does have drops. He just loaded something up. What did he load up there? I don't even know. Is it a lurker drop? It's got to be a lurker drop, right? Oh, burrow! Oh, gosh! Focus fired the probes, and that's so many that are gonna fall. I actually don't think it's that big of a deal because there's still 45 left over, and the majority of them are at the natural. And Protoss does not have a 3rd base, but that was still a good idea. Actually, Protoss had the same idea, was going for a drop himself. He ends up managing to keep the shuttle alive. Not sure exactly what's loaded up, but this is it. It all comes down to this. Can Paralyze actually break out of the contain? He's got a huge army. He's up. Well, he's not up in supply. He's down in supply. But he's got a lot of Dragoons here. That drop is at mid-left now, by the way. But it does look like it's just Zealots. So I don't really expect this to do much damage at all. Okay, it looks like he immediately loaded back up. And now he's got his eyes set on the main. Is that it? Is that really just all that's in there is a single Zealot? Wow, that's not ideal, to say the least. This really shouldn't do much damage at all. Droning. Drones need to evac. Oh wow, counterattack at the natural at the same time. Protoss moved out, and he may not be able to get back to save his main. Lurkers setting up into position. Also the Robo's here, by the way. Once the Robo falls, there's going to be no more observers. Oh, good pick off on the Templars. He does take a lot of damage from the Storm. But remember, all the probes are here. Every probe he loses is extremely painful. actually didn't kill as much as I thought. I thought he would actually get more damage done. I thought he would snipe the Nexus or snipe the Robo or something. Let's not get it twisted. Of course, Paralyze is doomed here, but he at least has a big army. I think he has a Hail Mary attack, like his one hope. Zerg actually only has +1 weapon, does not have +2 weapon. There could be a scenario where maybe Zerg botches, maybe stands in a storm a little bit too long, but he needs to have some storm. Does he not have any right now? These 7 goons are doing work, pushing back the Zerg army. Supplies are pretty close. Almost a 30 worker differential, but there's basically only a 25 supply lead. So actually, the Protoss army right now is bigger, and if those Templars have energy, the army's probably stronger also. But he needs to get everything together. Cannot have any straggler zealots. That's a good storm on the top side and in the middle. Have a small contingency force going to mid-left. Wow, that got absolutely crushed. That did not go well at all for Protoss. All the zealots melted. The 2 storms were actually pretty good, but the Archon got crushed also. Goons are trying to do something here. Oh man, Templar, goodbye. Another decent storm, but not gonna be enough. Zerg is now starting to really run away with it. 1-1 upgrades completed for him. Protoss has 6 goons, 2 Templars left over, even baits out a storm. That was nice. Well, Protoss is going to try and get this 3rd base. He's got his Nexus up at bottom middle, but it's going to be so hard for him to bounce back and forth between these bases, try and catch Zerg before they set up a contain, and he's not going to catch him because Zerg has already gotten into position, and all the probes are at the natural again. He just taps out immediately. GG, and that's it. Hyun is going to take the series. Paralyze, unfortunately, going to be eliminated. I think he played well in general, but Hyun, a little bit too good with his positioning, and obviously his macro was immaculate. He had really good econ in all the games. But that does set us up for Ssak versus Hyun now. This is going to be not a rematch. It was Ssak versus here. Was it Ssak versus Hyun originally? Yeah, it was Ssak versus Hyun originally. I talked about the tiers of the players earlier. So we got a rematch from our, I guess, technically 2nd series today. Maybe Hyun can strike back in this best of 3. Our first map is going to be Dark Origin. Alrighty, in the top left, will he attempt what Hero did on here? Go for that 4 pool. It is Hyun. And in the bottom right, we do have our orange Zerg, or orange Terran. It is Ssak, and it is not going to be a canceled drone into 4 pool. It is just going to be normal play, and this time around, even if it was a 4 pool, Ssak has gotten the good spawn where he can wall off his natural. I don't think he's going to go for that forward racks again. I think he kind of learned his lesson there. Don't want to try it versus Zergs on this map. And there goes that SCV. Is he going to wall his... Okay, he sent his SCV a little bit late. This may actually be an 8 racks down there. Okay, it is going to be an 8 racks, but it's going to be near his wall. I think this is much safer. He can float it back. He can wall off his natural if he needs to, and just have a depot, a depot sim city where it's completely linked tight. And Hyun, maybe Hero messaged him saying like, "Hey, dude, this guy 8 racks me on Dark Origin in the center of the map. You need to start checking for that," because we see a drone get sent out quite quickly. And look at this, he actually sends it over towards the right side. So if Ssak had gone for it twice in a row, he would have been in trouble. He is going for an 8 racks, but with it being positioned here, it's not nearly as risky. And Hyun, he scouts it, but he's still gonna go 12 hatch. He is. Alright, I guess he feels like he can delay it with this drone scout. He doesn't really get a cancel on the SCV building the rack, so it's not going to be delayed at all, but he at least damages the SCV quite a bit. Actually, more than quite a bit. I mean, they've taken a lot of damage, really. And now Terran going to go for their own scout. And Hyun is doing exactly what you need to do. Versus an 8 racks, you don't want to commit to gas quickly, because if you lose too many drones and you're also going gas, your econ is just shot. It all of a sudden just puts you all in. Like, you're really not in a great spot. Also, of course, you have to build lings in the early stages, maybe even a sunken. SCV, extremely low. What? He's pulling for this. Well, this is not going to be a long game. Either this is going to be a complete fail from Ssak, or it's going to be a complete success for him, and the hatchery is going to die, and then it's going to be a one-base Zerg trying to deal with a Terran that has a wall. I'm not seeing it. I think that these drones are strong enough to deal with it, with comboed lings. There's no bunker. Okay, now he's starting to build a bunker, but it's super late. I guess the Overlord didn't see the SCVs coming, so he didn't actually pull as many drones as he needed. He still hasn't pulled more drones. It's only 6. This bunker might actually get up. Oh, the drones catch all the Marines at the bottom side. That's gonna be all she wrote. You can't play out of this, Ssak. I'm sorry. We're gonna see GG any moment. Yeah, you're not getting in. You're not allowed. So Hyun with the perfect defense. Absolutely amazing. I guess maybe Ssak won't tap out right now, but he is in a whirl of hurt. It's of course playable, but not really. It would take a whole bunch of luck for him to not get taken down here by Hyun. He has no command center. He has no gas. He's going to have to repair this depot with an additional SCVs. Like, what do you lose? 4 SCVs overall, maybe 5? Plus that one's idle? Like, this is just a massive, massive lead for Hyun. And he didn't even overbuild lings. What did he build? 8 lings and that's it? Oh, and there's another SCV out on the map. So, just a catastrophic position for Ssak right now. I don't even know what he can do. I actually kind of think all he can do now is camp and pray that he doesn't die to some all-in. I think his best option here is to, like, 2 racks Academy, rush his tech, and pray for some miracle that he can, somehow rely on the heavy tech like tanks and vessels and slowly take his 3rd base. Because he's never going to have map presence. He's never going to hit a +1 timing. He's never going to be able to 4 racks and do damage. I think that's literally all he can do. His 2nd racks is coming down now. Maybe he can go for, I guess, 1 small push out, because I can't imagine him having very many Marines. Like, maybe like 5 Marine, 1 Medic, 1 Firebat, and just try and pray that this guy doesn't build a sunken. Stem for it across the map. But that's really it. Like, that's his Hail Mary here. Zerg's already up in supply. Or up in workers, I mean. He's got a macro hatch coming in. Terran, I don't even think can afford going Comsat because his econ is so bad. But Zerg is not going to abuse that. It's still going to be straight Spire. I think this could have been the game that you go like Lurker Rush, like a Ling Lurker bust. Because there's just nothing Terran can do. Like, they're just so far behind. They can't afford to go Comsat. And even if they go Comsat, you're going to attack them like right when they scan. Either way, straight Spire is going to be fine. I like this 4th base position. I think this is very sneaky. I think the likelihood of it getting scouted is quite low. There goes the scan. And he does see the Spire, so this is also going to be punishing because it's going to force out a lot of turrets. I'm surprised that Ssak is, I think, building a 3rd Rax in his main. Because I don't think the 3rd Rax is going to do anything really for him. I think if he's going to hold mutas, he's going to hold it with 2 racks. I don't think he's going to be able to get out on the map with like critical mass just because he's a 3rd Rax. I really do think that he needed to tech really hard and just pray that he can get his tech up and running and maybe slowly get back into the game. But it's actually going to be a 4 racks. He is super all in with this. Marine count is quite low. He's going to have to build a lot of turrets to defend everywhere. Zerg has massive econ. 3 4-hatch production. 3rd base already up. 3rd gas already up. And Mutas, they are looking for an opening. Maybe that turret looks juicy. Nope, not yet. Sniped an SCV. Gonna snipe another SCV. And he gets the turret. Okay, that was a really good trade, actually. Now, all of a sudden, this 4-rack may actually do something. He's already sniped 4 Mutas out of 8. This has gone as well as it possibly could have gone for Ssak. That's going to force out so many more Mutas from Hyun. I thought he could have built, you know, just like 7 and then just started scaling into his hive or lurkers or something. But now he's going to have to rebuild a ton of Mutas. He's gone into +1 weapon, so he is very committed here. He wants to knock down turrets left and right. Really clutch pullback right there to save one of the SCVs. Up to 11 Mutas now. Supplies are, you know, decent, 62 to 57, and they're relatively close. Actually, it's just a 5 racks for Ssak. I wish we could see what the next building is for Ssak. His gas income is really low. What is it at? Just at 170 right now. It may actually be a 5 racks all in. Oh, the medics! The medics, where are they? They're out in no man's land. They actually went back into the main. This group of army has no medics anymore, but he's not going to be punished. The Mutas in the natural are wreaking havoc. Oh, he's going to pick up. He already picked off all those turrets. One of the medics falls. Yeah, it is a 5th Rex, actually. Yeah, Ssak was just mega all in. He knew that he needed to end the game. I guess he didn't think he could recover with tech at all. And, I mean, he does kill a few of the Mutas, but he lost a lot there. And I still don't think he knows that Zerg has mid left. He may be thinking like, hey, this guy is only on 3 hatchets. He hasn't taken another base. Maybe if I just survive and, you know, go 5 racks into his potential mass mutilating, maybe I can actually win. But unbeknownst to him, there's actually a Hydrogen at mid left. This mass mutaplay is going to turn into maybe mass lurkers in a second. Turret's going to start falling. There goes one of them. Second one's going to fall. Third one going to fall. SCVs are starting to fall. Another one falls. Getting ugly for Ssak. Well, at least with the 5 racks, he will have a lot of units, and he can get out on the map pretty soon, and he needs to get out onto the map ASAP. He cannot just sit back in his base any longer. Zerg is going to have Hydras and Lurkers pretty soon. Wow, I can't believe those Marines didn't die immediately, but he still ends up picking off 4 of them. No Muta has fallen. Medic goes down. I think the Mutas are out of, or the medics are out of energy at this point. Like, they've stemmed, the Marines have stemmed so many times that they should be flat out. Another engagement into the main. Turrets, there's actually a lot of them. There's so many turrets. Muta's not really finding success that time around. Good defense from Ssak right there, but there's the main problem, is the lurkers. I'm not sure if he has +1 armor. Maybe if he has +1 armor, he can still have some glimmer of hope. Okay, he killed some more Mutas. He killed a lot of Mutas, actually. You gotta go right now, Ssak. This is your moment. You've got... It's not your moment. Do not go out right now. Lurkers are already in position. Oh, man. He can never get out now. He does not have a factory. He's not even mining his nat gas. Oh, is it hold position? Oh, this is gross. Okay. He's gonna move in. You gotta fight. No, he just shoots you. Yeah, he can't win that fight. So, Hyun perfect defense versus the 8 racks. I don't know what Ssak was doing with the SCV pull. I don't think I've really ever seen pros pull that, because if it's going to work, you don't need those 3 additional SCVs. Like, you saw that they didn't really even help out that much. So kind of a botch right there. Ssak, for whatever reason, really wants to make these 8 racks work, but they're just not working today. Let's get into game 2 and actually see if Hyun can close it out here. Okay, in the bottom left, 1 game away from making it out of the group, it is Hyun. Oh my gosh! He heard me from Dark Origin. He's going for a 4 pool, and this is a good map for it. You've got the small pathway on the left side spawn, or at the natural area. So he's going to have a direct path into the nat. I think at this point where Ssak has gone back-to-back 8 racks and it's not worked, you know, the chance of you running into it again is very low. Because, like, do you really want to risk going 8 racks again when it's failed twice in a row and this is your last game, potentially? So this is a genius play from Hyun. Ssak is going for a forward depot. Okay. So this is what I'm talking about. You see that gap right there on the left side. There's going to be a gap for the lanes to go through the left side. And also based on how he's positioned this depot, the racks is probably going on the right side. So there's going to be a gap between both, between the depot and the racks and the depot and the terrain. So 2 routes that he can get in. And this is not going to be a long game. 4 pool is mega all in. You do not transition out of this. If you ever do transition out of it, it's because it's gotten into a weird game state where it's like 4 SCVs left over in total. So it all comes down to how well Ssak can react to this. He needs to scout. And thinking back to the Dark Origin game that we just saw, he did not scout that. Okay, there he goes. He's got to see it. When he sees this drone, he may already know because Zerg players don't scout this fast. They don't do it. What direction is it going to go? He's going to the bottom and the drone sees it, so now the Lings can avoid the SCV. Nope, he's just running in here ASAP. Okay, the only thing Terran can do is gotta pull everything. Literally everything. You gotta leave like 1 SCV mining. Just everything has to come up here. I think he needs to build a bunker. He doesn't. What? Bunker would even help with SimCitying. Now the drone actually has additional DPS with the SCV. Look how these SCVs die. Marine pops out, but he got surrounded by the drone. That's it, man. We're out of here. Hyun speed ran Ssak here. I guess technically Dark Origin was, you know, a normalish type of game in terms of duration, but it was basically over after the 8 racks, and now it's completely over after this 4 pool. Ssak, he is not loving life right now. I can't believe it. 2 4 pools in the same group by different players. Now imagine if Ssak had built a bunker. Okay, he's got a bunker up. What's happening? The Marine, he got in. Dude, what? I'm speechless. I'm speechless at this point. Why did Hyun go to the main? Now, Zerg can actually, or Terran can actually... Oh, he did it again! He unloaded his bunker. He's going to lose the depot, but there's only 1 Marine in here. Where's that command center going? Yeah, but the thing is Ssak can actually mine now. He can put his racks in front of his bunker. Oh, based on where that command center is, did he build his bunker too close to the minerals? Look at that, he can't actually effectively mine. Oh my god. Well, this game is getting harder than it needed to be. All Hyun had to do was deal with the SCVs at the natural. He'd already eliminated half of them with his drone and Ling combo. I don't know why he ran into the main, Because now, Terran can actually mine here. The Marine is pretty close to the bunker. These lings are somewhat low, some of them. The bunker helps support also. Okay, so this is actually one of the few games where you can actually transition out of a 4-pool. I thought that this game was completely over, but for some reason, Hyun, he just went into the main for no reason. Lings from the back. Doesn't get it, though. He's just trying to trade for these SCVs, but doesn't get them. I think Zerg is ahead here. He's up workers. Terran can't effectively mine. This is so weird. Doesn't get that last SCV, though. You know, losing those 3 or 4 lings is a big deal. It does mean that now Ssak, despite having no vision on the map, could maybe try and make a move with his Marines out on with a counterattack. That's exactly what he's going to do. Well, no, he's not. I guess since he knows it's a 4-pool, man, it's like very risky to run into a Zerg or try and counter a Zerg when they're always or obviously low econ. But Hyun, he's going to try and transition now. He's got his hatch coming up at his natural. I just realized that Ssak doesn't have a depot. Like, I realized it got killed, and I guess I didn't realize that he needed to rebuild it now. This is a disaster. He has 5 workers mining. He built a depot in his main, and now he built a depot at his natural also. Okay, I guess he really wanted it for the Sim City, but still dire straits for... Oh, that's why he built it, because he wants to kill off the bunker so that he can resituate that Rax. I mean, command center. Alright, so that's gonna die. And there still is no gas for Hyun. He's gonna 3rd hatch in his main, just really get his eco going. I think that's a smart move. This is painful for Ssak. I bet you he's never been in a situation like this legitimately where he gets 4-pooled, basically is dead. Zerg botches their Ling attack, and then he floats his command center to his natural where he's blocked himself with the bunker. I'm sure he's never had that situation, but I mean, it happens when you're facing a 4-pool and you know they're all in. You're like in full-on panic mode. I just need a bunker, man. If I build it, I'm gonna win. So you just get it down, and you feel like you're in a solid position. This is actually 5 Marines, a lot of DPS here. Sunken is a little late. If Ssak commits to this, okay, he's not. If he did, he may have actually been able to do some damage, but instead he backs off. This is so hilarious that Sakk's gonna expand, but it's gonna be an expansion towards his main. Also, something to consider that I'm just now realizing is that unlike the main where you have, I think it's 10 patches on Apocalypse, but then 1 gets mined out, so you're down to 9. Ssak only has 7 at his natural. So he's mining very ineffectively compared to Hyun, who's got so many more patches to mine from. Zerg now has Lair coming up. Terran doesn't even have their gas started. There's no second racks. There's no academy. Zerg is just completely in the driver's seat once more. I think, again, the only thing Terran can do is 2 racks. Maybe not even 2 racks. Just 1 racks. Gas, academy, get your stim. What's he doing? Well, that sucks. I've never seen that before. I don't even know what happened there. Did he send 2 drones to try and build gas and one of them got stuck? That is weird. That has to be an academy. I think that's the only thing he can go for. 1 Rax academy. Try and get stim in range in time, and then fight for dear life off of 1 Rax mass turrets. Command center is going to be done in just a second, though. And we do transfer over there. Wait, that's an eBay. Okay, he's going to try and go eBay +1, plus stim in range. But the Spire has already started and the Academy isn't even done. This is looking really rough for our Terran. Zerg is up almost 10 workers at this point, has complete map control. You can even see he's got like lings patrolling around the map to make sure he didn't miss something. I guess, you know, one other way that Ssak could have won is maybe he rushes his gas immediately and tries to like proxy a factory or something crazy. And there is the 4th hatch. Big time macro from Hyun. Then coming down. Okay, once again, it's going to be multiple barracks. 2nd and 3rd barracks coming in. 5th hatch coming in for Hyun. This time it's at his 3rd base at top middle. And there's still not a single medic out for Terran. He is in really bad shape right now. Lings being built also. Wow, 4th racks. I guess it's expected. If he was going to go for, you know, an 8 racks complete fail and then transition into 4 racks off of that type of opener, you know, he's most likely going to try the same thing again. He's gotten up to a decent worker count, actually, 33 to 30. You know, I could see a world where if he can trade well versus the initial mutas like he did on Dark Origin, maybe he's not out of it, but it's just such a hard spot to be in. He also has no bunker at his nat. He doesn't have that many Marines. He has, again, like I said, 1 medic. Turrets aren't really up yet. There's only like 1, you know, at all the key positions. Ssak's doing a really good job to manage his money as best as he can. There's only so much you can do from a position like this. 6, 7, 8 mutas out in the field, and Ssak is airtight at all the key locations. Hyun's gonna have to wait for a few more mutas before he's actually able to bust somewhere. Looks like maybe that's the spot to bust. I don't think Terran has range just yet, so if he wants to engage the Marines, now's the time to go. More turrets coming in. Nice snipe right there. And Zerg, not all in behind this, has Hive coming, has Hydrogen completed, so Lurker's going to be coming in pretty soon also. Multiple scans going off for Ssak. He thought potentially it could be, or the 3rd hatch could be at mid-left, but it's actually up top middle. No factory, by the way, so just like last game, this is maybe going to be a 5th racks as a follow-up. He did rush +1 weapon. Maybe he'll be rushing +1 armor, so if he, you know, gets Lurker contained again, he may feel like he can actually fight the army. Yep, there is +1 armor coming right now. Hyun finds an opening in the armor. Takes down that turret. Takes down that. No, he doesn't take down that turret, at least not just yet. Okay, now he gets it. And now Hyun looks like he's in the sweet spot with those mutalisks. Nope, instead he's going to come back towards the main. He wants these SCVs, and I think Ssak is doing all that he can really do. He's going to counter. He's going to be all in with this. This army needs to win the game. He's going towards top middle, which is a key base. Like, Zerg definitely wants this base, but I don't think killing this base is enough. I think if Ssak wants to use this army to try and win the game, it's got to be for the main. He's got to go straight for the main. At least if he takes down, you know, that base, it gets also rid of all the tech. It's not like Zerg can survive off of 1 hatch and, you know, Defiler at that. But just eliminating top middle, I feel like that's not enough. I think he's got defense up in time. Yep, Lurker is set up. He just came back into the main to deal with the SCVs. That command center may actually be under threat of dying, and there it is. GG comes out. Hyun, he does it. He takes down Ssak 2-0. Wild final game. I think it was a little harder than it needed to be, but it was a good build. The 4 pull onto a player that had back-to-back gone 8 racks. The likelihood of it happening is extremely low. I think it was very smart from Hyun, and that means that we got out both Zergs from this group. I'm a little bit surprised that Ssak is the one that fell here. I know that Hyun is, of course, a good player, but Ssak is, you know, like, he's top tier, man. Like, there's a reason he's in ASL all the time. But Hyun, hey, you got to give credit where credit is due. He played immaculate. He played exceptionally well in the final series versus Ssak. Hyun also played very good versus Paralyze. His macro was nuts. What, 10 hatch or 11 hatch on Dark Origin? Even though he lost that game, that was a bonkers game. And that is it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I'm glad you enjoyed Group C. Again, like I said, I did make a change to my mic. If you notice that there was some type of distortion, I noticed that it only happens on Discord. So if you're someone out there that's an expert at Discord and knows like what settings I need to use, definitely mention in the comments what needs to be fixed and I'll look into it. But that's it, and I look forward to seeing you in Group D.